Welcome to the Red Leaf Retrocast, the Worldwide Weebs, the most international podcast of all time. All time.
Let's not go that far.
Are you disputing this fact?
Yeah, our Brazilian's not even here.
The Brazilian is absent for this episode. He has this thing
life?
called... Well, there is no life outside anime or video games, and that's why we're here.
Okay.
He wants to make a life outside of it. How dare he? Anyways.
Yeah.
Yes, Hickey is gone. It is okay. He's not permanently gone.
This time.
This time.
Yet.
We're not taking the podcast in a different direction.
I'm only half fair, though.
Oh, God.
You're only here in actual body.
Yeah, not in spirit.
This podcast is brought to us by David's Tea. Find your inner chai. Have you found it yet, Joe?
No.
Tori, have you ever found your inner chai?
I don't even know what that is, so no.
You want me to align my chakra or whatever?
Well,
Oh,
if you want to find your
gee.
inner chai,
Okay, gotcha. I gotcha.
whether it's sweet and spicy, the tea is calling your name. Tori, in particular, if you were in North America,
If
it
I
could call
were
your
in North
name.
America,
But Joe, it is definitely calling your name. Taste the latest, or curl up with your significant loved one, or a classic chai tea. Some top choices going right now is white chocolate tea, pumpkin chai, s'mores chai. You feeling that?
All you basic white girls. We got that shit ready.
Well, now that that's out of the way, we can get down to business. Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing alright. You're sitting right next to me. What's up with this?
Oh, wow, yeah, because I'm moving to Rhode Island.
Yeah, we did it.
It only took 10 and a half hours to drive here from Toronto.
Yeah. What happened to 8 hours?
Well, I mean, there's border control, and I had to pee, and
How dare you try to fucking relieve
then there was
yourself and eat.
traffic.
What's wrong with you?
Tori, how come you're not in Rhode Island right now?
Well, because I'm in Norway, and there's currently a cycling world championships going on there, so I can't get anywhere.
I hear that was almost your problem that you had to deal with it.
I'm still not sure how, because I'm getting mixed messages now, so it might actually be my problem again. So now I'm not sure, and I'm literally sitting here. It's just a couple of hours until I may or may not have to participate, and I'm getting mixed messages, so I don't know.
Beautiful. Just the way I like it.
Yep.
Everyone
Very
for the
well
last
planned
second.
out, as you can tell.
Oh, clearly.
Speaking of
Clearly.
sports, I have been here trying to convince Joe to join the bowling team with me and become my partner in bowling.
The world's largest handicap play. What's your average? I'm rocking a good 90.
It's okay, I've made that up. I've gotten better. I'm pulling 220 these days.
Your average will go up to 300.
Oh, perfect. Just like my personality. Well, it's funny Norway comes up, not because of Tori, but because we saw on a billboard that we could get to Norway for $99 out of Rhode Island.
Non-stop.
Non-stop flight.
Cool. I mean, you're welcome.
So Tori,
Yes.
how's Bergen?
Well, like I said, Cycling World Championships started yesterday. Kicked off for real today. And now, all next week, they're gonna keep going. And our school decided to sign us up as volunteers against our will, and really without even telling us, until we one day just was told, hey, you're volunteers. And it's like, no. I never signed up for a volunteer.
So the school signed you up to volunteer for the Cycling World Championship?
He was
Yep.
voluntold.
You were voluntold?
Yeah. I was put a gun to my head and said, this guy's a volunteer. Yes, I am.
Now get in the Gundam.
Getting the Gundam, yeah.
You know, it's funny you bring that up. This podcast, we're discussing the Mobile Suit Gundam movie trilogy from the early 80s.
Then
No,
you're
we're
supposed to
not.
watch the series first before you watch.
Yeah.
That can be debatable.
It makes sense if you have it. It's clearly a refresher.
Well, I mean, fans and people say that the movies are more canon at this point than the TV show from 79.
It's all revisionist anyway.
They kind of add a couple things that were missing, but it's mostly just the kind of text tell in certain scenes,
Yeah,
as
definitely.
opposed to just showing. So that happens.
I really
before
like them
that,
just transitioning to battle all of a sudden with no actual explanation of what the fuck is going on. That was nice.
Do you want them to tell you everything, or do you want you to show them?
I would like to. I would like
recreators. Everything can't be as good as recreators, Tori.
I would like them to not get in a spaceship, leave out into space, and only to cut until them being in war on some other planet or colony or whatever the fuck they were at. That is a bit. Wait, what? What happened?
Drop the colony. That'll show them.
Do that later.
A couple times. Every series.
Before that, our main discussion topic is over weekly to binge watching an anime. A suggestion by our community.
No.
And where can they find our community, Joe?
Well, if you're talking about the community, we're on Mal as the Mal group, www.cast or Red Leaf Retrocast. Type that in; it's the only one you're gonna pop up with. From there, if you find us, you can find all our individual Mal pages, and on the group, you can actually get into our Discord, which is basically where all our community interaction happens. You can find us all on Twitter. Tori has some ridiculous name that's going to be in the show notes, and JD's Bowling JD, and I'm FullMetal_LAX.
Lax.
Excellent. Well then, shall we move on to some bullshitting, such as Rhode Island's actually pretty fun?
Of course it is, yeah. Because we have seasons.
Yeah, well, I mean,
And
Canada has seasons such as cold and not as cold.
Cold, winter, and like a little less than winter.
It's just like Norway. Winter is always coming, and then it's here, and then it's here again.
Actually,
yeah, well, you could always be hickey, you know. Summer is here.
JD, first of all, don't pull me down with you, because that is just not true. Here in Norway, we have winter, and then we have rain.
No. Let's not get it twisted. You have rain, and then you have slightly colder rain.
No, sometimes the rain actually completely freezes.
That's hail, bud.
Or sleet.
Yes, it is hail. We do get quite a lot of that too.
Fuck that. Fuck that.
Yeah, so all yesterday, Joe was kind enough to kind of hang with me and show me around as we were looking for apartments. Not together, just for myself.
No, you're moving in together and you know it. Gay.
Yeah, that'll show IU right there.
Well, there is a few members of the community. We have to break them out of their shells, so to say.
John.
Semi.
Crash.
All right, the list is quite large, actually.
All of them.
Meaning everyone has to move to Rhode Island now, so we're still waiting on your visa application, Tori.
Well, I mean, you could also just move to Bergen.
Yeah, build that wall or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's good jobs in Bergen, I'll go.
I mean, I'm sure there is.
I'll go to the Norway mountain town.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, sure, you do that. Mountain town. Okay.
I mean, yeah, aren't they blowing a hole in the mountain behind your house?
Well, yeah, but, I mean, sure, I'm not going to get into that.
That's right, boy.
We're not going to be talking
town. They're trying to get rid of the mountains. It's gonna be ex-Bergen.
It's good. Yeah, sure. Right.
Bergen Valley Town.
Yeah, that'd be more correct.
But it's been quite a good weekend. Joe's been kind enough to let me sleep on his couch.
And drink every day.
Yeah, we've definitely had some drinks. The place I ended up going through on is 2 minutes from a brewery.
Yeah, high end 2 minutes. Of course, this is Rhode Island. Everything's only like 5-10 minutes away anyway.
Yeah, everyone's complaining about driving maybe 10 minutes or going across a bridge. I go, I mean, it was faster for me to walk to work than take any transportation in Toronto.
Well, yeah, I would assume it would be faster to walk from your couch to your office chair.
Well, no, if I had to actually go to a building, it was a 45-minute walk or an hour by train.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with a computer desk. No thanks.
Yeah, so there's a lot of job opportunities out here. I hope the next part of my life goes well in Rhode Island. I'm looking forward to the future.
It'll be okay.
It'll be okay. I mean, we're going to try out for the North American Soccer League team, the Rhode Island Oceaneers, right? They're having open tryouts. I mean, why not?
Anyone can go. Why not? Worst case scenario, nothing happens.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to wonder why we're there. She's like, I wanted to see if I was had natural talent.
Am I some kind of god?
I have my smartphone.
I have my smartphone. Isn't God just going to give me all of the powers?
All of his number. Isekai smartphone.
Shout
I'm
out
pretty
to
sure I have
Ikki.
the power to create anything, so I'm going to create a world in my image.
By the power of Grayskull,
Oh,
I have
my
the
God.
power.
Well, going off on another tangent, you took me to a comic place that had manga.
Yep.
Then Barnes & Noble, which also has manga.
Surprise.
And we went to a used video game store, which had video games, in which the old Thundercats cartoon was on in the back. And I'm looking at the games, and all I hear is the worst voice acting you can imagine. Well, I think it was Panthera's voice where he sounded borderline retarded. Lionel, did you do it?
Did you do it?
It's like, no way does he sound like that. I don't remember that.
You were way happier in the 90s when you watched it.
This was better when I was 5.
This was way better when I was a child.
Tori, has there been any TV shows or cartoons or anything you've just kind of stumbled across, such as Thundercats, and realized that, good God, this is bad?
Yeah, Clannad.
No.
Well, I mean,
Like I
clearly.
said, I had that. I had kind of had that with like Pokemon, but then again, I was also never the biggest fan of Pokemon. So it's like I rewatched Pokemon the first season. I was like, God, this is bad.
Great googly moogly.
what isn't bad is this coffee Senpai made for me.
Yeah, it has espresso in it.
He noticed me.
Well, you are on my couch.
Yes. Oh, fucking bum.
Senpai's noticed me every morning.
Yeah, I woke you up this morning. You were fucking
Oh,
dead.
I was about to say I didn't have to wake you up today.
Yeah, well, stress levels have been high this summer.
He falls asleep at like 1. I fall asleep at like 4. I wake up at 8.
Yeah,
And
I
we
don't
just
know.
wait till 11:30 to eat because fuck it.
It's
He's
Sunday,
passed
who
out
cares?
dead on my couch.
Oh, man. Has anybody been, watching... Oh, I should probably go over the manga I got.
Yeah, you might
You
want
were
to.
almost borderline just putting things in my arms and say bye. And I went, oh, you know what? Sure.
Actually, I did just put things in your arms, and you.
Let's see. You put... No, the one that stuck out the most was you just pulled 2 volumes of Kakagururi off the shelf and you went, here. Okay. I guess I'm buying this now.
Or was it? You've only found 1 volume of Blame. I found all 5 on one shelf.
Well, no, I've only seen... In Toronto, I've only ever seen volume 3 of Blame. Ever.
Weird.
Only volume 3.
That's a good volume. I don't know why it's not.
Well, because
bought.
everyone always buys the most recent,
Yep.
or they buy the start.
Mhm.
So 3 is right in the middle, so it's always there.
Yeah, but you can't get most current if you don't buy the stuff in the middle.
But the people that have already sold out 4 and 5 don't need 3 anymore.
Yeah, but the people who want 1 and 2 are gonna need 3.
Well, then 3 will be sold out soon enough.
And then all in due time.
Yeah. So I saw 1 through 5. I got volume 1 of Blame. I'm taking another shot at Kurosagi Corpse Service. Got another omnibus, 3 volumes.
I fucking hate omnibuses. I really do.
I don't
But
mind.
they're so cheap, though.
Yeah, I mean, $15 for 3 volumes as opposed
Yeah.
to for 1, so...
They save so much money, but God, the binding is always awful.
You, we were talking about Bakemonogatari and how they had the volume. You're like, well, Kizu's on the other side. Oh, god damn it. All right, give me that too.
Kizu's like right there. I totally saw it. You can pick it up.
I was looking for the Coppelion manga, but they didn't have that. I guess it's just a little too
It's
old
so
at this point. But it did
crunchy.
just,
I'm actually not sure if it's even out of print or not.
but it did just end last year.
Old.
Yeah, but I don't think it was super popular.
COP.
No shit. Compelling.
Yeah,
God,
Tori and I had quite a conversation. I was in VC while driving down here,
I'm not
and
sure if
we
you.
were talking about Coppelion for a little bit. It looks so much fun. I've only read chapter 1. I'm quite intrigued.
Jenny, I'm not sure if you saw it, but I did send you a couple of images about what we were talking about.
Oh, it
The
was
background,
amazing.
And of course that girl who got crushed, and she's like, "Why can't I die?" Oh, I love that.
It is on the Crunchyroll manga app, and that's how I'm going to read it. But I definitely prefer, I don't mind digital versions, especially since Crunchyroll manga does a good job.
Yeah.
So But if I like compelling enough, I'd like to see it in physical form on a shelf that I'm clearly building up to.
JD, you also checked out on
physical English
Crunchyroll.
release was never in print.
Oh,
It's only available digitally.
Bummer
Yeah.
town.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, JD, you also checked out
Damn.
the other thing we were talking about. You also checked out what's it called? Osama Game Keegan or Osama Game or King's Game.
King's
the
Game,
Origin.
yes.
Yeah, King's Game, the Origin. It's which I also informed you that there's an anime of the original King's Game coming out next season. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
The one
I'll be
thing that-
definitely watching that now.
The one thing I'm scared of, though, after looking at that PV, it looks like it's getting censored, which is annoying because people dying horrible deaths is kind of the point of that series. So, you know, if that is censored, that is going to put a bit of a damper on that.
Yeah, I sure hope not.
It looks like it is because
that'd
every
be
time
quite the bummer.
in the PV, every time they show somebody die, it's like they really black it out. So it's like, I'm pretty sure they're gonna censor it unless there's gonna be an uncensored version.
I've noticed recently that I tend to not enjoy things that I've already read if I see it in the anime because I know what it's supposed to be.
Hey, hold
Yeah.
on. We got to take a selfie moment podcasting. Hey, how you doing, guys?
Taking
What the fuck are you guys doing?
Hey!
a dumbass picture to post in the Discord, I guess.
It's also going on Twitter.
All right, well, fucking better go on Twitter. Anyway, yeah.
While
so I
we're
feel like-
podcasting, guys.
yeah, no, he's gonna get a fucking pizza next time too.
Can I get that video of
All
you
right,
slapping him now?
Selfie moment.
So anyway, back on topic. I'll just reel the shit right back in, I guess.
You do
So-
that.
I feel like every time I read something, I'm less likely to enjoy the anime because I know what's going to happen, A, which is already a huge down, and B, I feel like most things I read are already intended to be manga. They weren't really intended to be anime. So it kind of, like most of the series lend themselves better to panel on a page for me.
Sure.
Something about adaptations just don't sit right a lot of the time.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. Should we move on to our questions? Because that kind of goes into some of those.
Yeah.
Nah,
sure,
let's
why
skip
not?
the questions. Let's skip the question this time. We don't
Yeah,
need-
that'll show 'em.
Skip the questions from our biggest fans.
Yep.
Our biggest fans who I just hunt down until they ask us questions every time.
Yep.
Speaking of fans, actually, did you know there are
What?
2 countries that we're building quite a fan base in?
America?
Well, I mean,
No. America.
it's the Ukraine
Yeah.
and Spain.
Yeah.
We have at least a couple dedicated fans in Spain.
Yes,
At least, because every episode's downloaded.
every single one.
Yeah.
And they listen to it fully, as far as I can tell.
So you guys, come join our Discord and say hi.
They need to. We don't speak Spanish. It's one of the few languages we don't speak. Maybe Hickey can pick up on some words. I don't know.
Yeah, he speaks Portuguese, and I don't know. But I mean, if you're listening to an English podcast, I have to assume you speak English. We don't exactly go off on tangents in Spanish or Portuguese or Ukrainian, for that matter.
You know what it was? It had to be the last episode where I put in different languages of what cynicism means in translates. So clearly that's what did it.
Yeah? Yeah?
Sure.
Are you sure it's not the fucking pizza?
Well, the pizza moment is legendary, and the selfie moment's also going to become legendary.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they're really going
I
to see
guess.
that on the podcast, aren't they? This video
Oh.
podcast that we're making right now.
We should make a video podcast.
We
If this
should make a
Discord
video
thing works
podcast.
out well, we'll see.
Yep.
Wouldn't be terrible. Put it up on Twitch or something.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Podcast,
Talking to
selfie.
you. He's
Hashtag
dicking around on his
red
phone for some reason. So yeah, let's actually roll right into these questions.
leaf
Yeah.
Retrocast.
Do you have them up, or you want me to read them for you?
Okay, you
All
read
right,
them.
great talk.
Awesome.
So,
First
Not
question
even
comes from Ayu. It says, "What is your favorite completed manga, and explain what makes it great? Name a manga that is completed that you would really like to be adapted into an anime. What studio and or director you would give it to if you could choose, and why? Name an ongoing manga you think deserves more attention than it is getting now." So that's a lot of questions, but
So just tackle one at a time.
I think Tori could field it.
I mean, I can start. Do I just do all 3 in one go, or do I just do it?
Ooh,
Ooh,
one
that sounds
at a
fun.
time?
Do that.
Yeah,
Okay,
lightning
well-
round.
Favorite completed manga. That would be that would obviously be Aria, and anybody that knows me would know why I'm a sucker for for coming of age narratives, and I just love that entire world. Yeah, the manga is basically just like the anime, and I really like the anime. It's like the manga is just the anime, or the anime is just the manga. So, I would of course enjoy that again. Name a manga that I would really like to see adapted into an anime, and what studio and or director would I like to give it to? This one is going to be very boring because I don't read a whole lot of manga, and I don't really care, to be quite honest. I don't really have a burning desire. I mean, 20th Century Boy, maybe I would like to see. Not sure who I would want to do it though, and quite frankly,
Well, since it's
I don't
Urasawa,
need to see it.
How about I answer it for you then?
And quite frankly, I don't. Just let me finish. Quite frankly, I don't want to, or I don't need to see it as an anime. And to answer the last question, which was name an ongoing manga you think deserves more attention, none. No, you can
What
go,
an
JD.
awesome answer.
I hate your answers, Tori.
Good. Then you do
I
better.
hate them. I will do better after Joe.
Okay, so my favorite completed manga is, if I'm gonna cheat, JoJo's Part 7, because Part 7's done. But if you want me to actually answer and not be a prick about it, it's gonna be Goodnight Poon Poon. What makes it great? Well, it's a really dark narrative, but it has good humor. It's really down to earth. It's really like personable. And apparently I like sadness for some reason. I don't know why, but I guess I do.
It's because you're a sad person.
You're
a sad panda.
What gave me away?
You're
I'm not a sad panda.
Yes, you are.
I'm not. I'm a city carrier.
You looked pretty like you looked a lot like a sad panda when I took that amazing selfie. That was about 5 minutes ago.
That looks more like a "what the fuck are you doing" face, but I mean, if you want to see that, just hop on his Twitter. I'm sure by the time you watch this, it'll
it's
be
posted.
19 things deep.
It's posted.
Yeah, this is not going up tomorrow.
Maybe no. I'll be driving at least 10 hours tomorrow, unless the people say I'm not allowed to move in there.
Oh, there it is. Oh, you guys look so cute together.
I know, right?
Ugh.
Can't wait until you move in together.
Oh god.
Anyways,
A manga that's completed that you'd really like to be adapted? God. Shit, I don't know.
see, wouldn't it have been great if we would have got this agenda yesterday
Girl
so
on
we
the
could have
Shore?
prepared for these questions?
No,
Joe?
Girl on the Shore would have to be.
Hentai?
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
So what's the problem?
Nothing, actually. I'm just gonna stick to my guns. Goodnight Poon Poon, I guess.
Alright.
Give it to Madhouse.
Okay.
Let them take care of it. Or Shaft, I guess. So they tackled sadness now.
Uh-huh.
Now they can do sadness, and they're the only art house studio that'll tackle that shitty drawn bird properly.
I can see them doing something incredibly stylistic with it.
Oh,
the
dude.
The biggest problem is, I mean, Poon Poon's emotions are totally based on, or his character art is based on how he feels.
Mm-hmm.
So he changes what he looks like throughout the series based on what he's feeling.
I see.
You'd have to somehow portray that in an anime form.
Hey,
otherwise
someone
the story
liked
doesn't
that
make sense.
selfie I just posted.
Whoop-de
on
fucking
Twitter.
do. We're in the middle of a podcast.
Can I get that video of you slapping him already, please?
Maybe. Name an ongoing manga that deserves more attention. Berserk. I don't care. It deserves more attention.
It has a lot of attention already, though.
Fuck you. It deserves more.
Motto.
Moto.
It deserves an anime adaptation of it, you might say.
I really wanted to get an anime.
Oh man, if only it existed.
People are shaving years off my life every.
Berserk 2018, guys. Let's go.
Actually, kill me, please.
Is it my turn?
Yes. It's your
Yes.
turn.
All right, the best answers, here they come. So,
Okay,
Hold
let's
on,
get
hold on.
JD
Let me
this
get on
time.
Twitter real quick. 1 second.
it's okay, I'll wait.
No, please. After you.
Oh, all right. So kind. Treat me so well.
I know.
What is your favorite completed manga? I'm going with 20th Century Boys. Because it's Urasawa. And Urasawa is a genius.
But have you completed it?
He's pure. I have not completed it.
Exactly. Invalid
But
answer.
That wasn't the question. It was
Invalid answer, JD.
No. It just says completed manga. It is a completed manga that I am currently on
Invalid
volume
question,
13.
JD.
Yeah, let's
Change your
dodge that
answer.
question. Here we go. That'll show him. There you
I
go.
mean,
I retweeted it for you.
Oh,
Excellent.
you did?
Yep, sure did.
Oh,
wait.
nice. Hey.
All right, yeah, retweet from the greatest selfie.
Look at that. Oh, retweet.
Oh my god, a third one. Oh, it's
Oh,
just
and-
story. All right.
And a like.
This is already a nightmare. We're
Of course
25
it
minutes
is.
in, and this is fucking
JD,
terrible.
answer
Fine,
the question. God.
Jeez, I mean, okay, if you want one that I've completed, it'd be Pluto.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he
good.
cut out
Is
for
that
me,
fine?
but okay.
Yeah.
I look forward to
Explain
hearing
what
that
makes
was.
Pluto great. Well, I mean, it's an alternative take on Astro Boy, and making it a lot darker. And it's the world's greatest robot arc, which is actually quite good in Astro Boy form. And when they do it in the when Urasawa does it alternatively, it's a lot more mature, and that's what makes it so well received. Name a manga completed that you would really like to see adapted into an anime, and what studio and director. I would really like to see Seven Seeds be adapted, mostly due to the fact that it's never been legally translated into English, and it's a very good shoujo, post-apocalyptic
Of course it is.
anime.
What else would it
or
possibly
manga.
be?
It's very shoujo. The art is incredibly shoujo. So I would think that someone like JC Staff would be suited for that. And the director would be that whoever directed Honey and Clover,
Oh, that guy.
because it'd be able to tackle women feelings much better.
Women feelings,
Women
huh?
feelings.
I think men feel those feelings.
Nah.
Not in this one.
Okay.
They just kind of go crazy in Seven Seeds. And I think that would be the best answer to give.
There you go. That'll do it.
There you go. Is that all of them?
Oh,
Name an ongoing manga you think deserves more attention than it is getting now.
Don't say One Piece. Don't say One Piece. Don't say One.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Say it. You know you want to.
An ongoing manga.
Kakegurui?
Kakaguri. Yes.
Yeah.
It is currently... Actually, you know what? Kurosagi Corp Service.
Yeah. No, that series is criminally underrated because it's very fun. The
Yeah.
only problem is in America, you get those shitty 3-in-1s. No one wants to buy
Hey.
them because you feel like you're going to break them the entire time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know that I would love some single volume tankobons, or maybe possibly a box set of some kind, and I would buy it.
Well, it's funny
I
you
don't mind
bring
the
up,
green ones.
like, crazy sets in one. I finally saw in person that Death Note all-in-one.
I know, I handed
Thing's
it
a
to you.
brick. Why?
Yeah.
Why is that even a thing?
We didn't even see one either. It was at every store we went to.
Yes.
They had at least one of them. 2,400 pages of Death Note in a single spine, single ply. That thing is gonna fucking get destroyed. I have 13 volumes of it out there on my bookshelf, and I mean, it takes up a sizable amount of room. That all-in-one, maybe the size of 2 or 3 volumes, that paper quality has to be garbage. There's no way.
And the print incredibly small.
Yeah.
So, I'll go on to the next question, which is by Semibolt.
Oh, Semi. Our
Oh.
only proper review.
The
Trash.
yes, if you
Yes.
would like to leave a review, you can go to iTunes and give us any sort of stars, preferably 5.
Give us any sort of stars.
And I would really appreciate if more of our Stitcher and Overcast listeners would also leave reviews, if that's even possible on those platforms. They gotta be. Right?
Find a way to do it if it
They
isn't.
can find out.
Find a way to do it.
Like going to iTunes. Possibly.
Yes.
I don't know.
Pretty much everyone has it.
You don't even need to. You just need to have
Yeah.
an account, and then you can just go make one, or you can go write a review for us.
So our little friend from the left coast who needs to move to Rhode Island.
Yeah, he is on the wrong coast.
He is on the wrong coast. He needs to get out of his shell. He's a turtle.
Fucking turtles.
He's a turtle. Fucking turtle.
Name a villain you think was the most hyped. Strictly from the anime, fandom hype doesn't count.
See, I take issue with this question simply because in a lot of shows, or in most shows where you have a final villain, the final villain is usually very fucking hyped up, because that is kind of the point, it's the final villain.
All capital letters. D-I-O.
Yeah.
Dio in part 3 of JoJo's is the most hyped up thing. You don't see him until
Yeah.
What, episode 40?
Little did you know it was Dio this whole time.
Kono Dioda. Yes.
Oh.
So you think he was overhyped?
No, I think he's the
No,
most
not
hyped up.
overhyped. I'm thinking. Oh God, I forget his name. What's his name? Fucking.
the
Fucking
most
villain
hyped
from
villain?
Monster.
Strictly from the anime.
Oh, Johan?
From the anime. Yeah, I mean that guy is
yeah.
fucking hyped up as shit. You never see that guy. He's like, but he is. Ooh.
You only see him in hyped up moments.
Exactly. So you're kind of just in this like I've never, like I said, I've never in anime been so scared of somebody who's never on screen before.
I mean, I guess you could say Griffith is probably the most hyped up villain.
Yeah, if only there was an anime.
Yeah.
From covering Berserk.
Oh, it's true. I mean,
It's really a shame.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not really.
Well, if 20th Century Boys became an anime, I could totally see Madhouse doing that one, and then The Friend being super hyped. But this is the anime question.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I would say Death Note, actually. And Code Geass,
What, with L?
because they're... Well, no, the main character is the villain. And they're, like, every episode, they're constantly getting more and more hyped up to certain moments, and then it resets and does it all over again.
Just because he
See,
takes
I
a
don't think
potato
Lelouch
chip
was
and
the
eats
bad
it
guy.
too doesn't mean anything, JD.
Potato chips are good, Tori.
They
Yeah,
are.
no need to bring that in, bring that up. I mean, come on.
I don't
No,
think
there
Lelouch
is a
was
very
specifically
big
the
need
bad
to
guy
bring
in
that
Code
up.
Geass.
Well, spoilers entail, but
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, something had to drive the narrative. Just because it was him, he wasn't exactly in the wrong.
Gurren Lagann, the Spiral King,
Oh yeah,
he was super hyped.
yeah, and paid off totally. And then you see him again.
He does.
Spiral power.
Well, again, like you're kind of just playing into what I said though. When it comes to final villains, they're technically supposed to be very hyped up. They're the final villain.
Well, yeah, they're supposed to end the series. Whether or not they actually do is what's up for debate.
Yep.
Which, I mean, the anti-spiral was fucking hype as hell.
I know a villain who wasn't hyped up.
Who?
That also happens.
The chick from Recreators.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Yeah, no.
My God, that was there was like no hype. I
Well,
felt like there was nothing.
It was
I mean,
active
what-
negative.
how
hype.
do you hype up somebody who's basically just said like, oh, they can do everything? Well, it's kind of like, well, they're fucked.
Oh, thank God that series is over.
Yes.
No, it's an instant classic, JD. God, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, and the plot didn't at all fall apart at the end. No,
Gee,
absolutely
off
not.
that shit through.
Yeah,
Shall
actually,
we move
you're
on
wrong.
to the next one?
You're wrong, senpai. You know it's actually Kakegurui. That is
Oh,
the,
yeah,
worst.
no, totally, because it's not Kaiji.
Yep.
Because they're totally the same show, you fucking idiot.
They're not the same show.
Obviously. That's the joke. Thank you.
Okay.
That's the joke.
Although I must say, Kakegurui is doing a really good job hyping up the student council president. Like, she is psychotic, and everyone.
Yeah,
is scared of her.
unlike everyone else in that show. Yes.
But even more like, okay, so every character in that show's psychotic, and then the fact that they're able to hype her up as even more psychotic says something. That says a lot about the writing when you have a character that wants to kill herself for pleasure.
Yep.
Well, JD, you also kind of have to remember, we kind of just first saw her. She was kind of like, oh, she's the head of this very, like, all-powerful student council who just does with people as she sees fit. Which is then emphasized with her going to this fucking suicidal check and going, so, what do I want from you? Well, I've never seen the backside of somebody's eyeball before. If you can present that to me, then it's like, ooh, damn. This chick is weird.
You personally can give me nothing, but your right eyeball looks good. Like, what?
Nah, not even your right eyeball, the backside of it. I need to see the backside. I've never seen the backside of an eyeball.
I need to see the connector bit. The plug and play bit in the back.
Oh,
Yep.
man. So, Joe, why don't you read the next question?
And if that's what you want, man.
I do.
Our boy Semi.
It's what I want.
Good. Don't whisper that. Or no.
Read the question.
This is from our boy Semi. Again. I've heard a lot of people say that they didn't like the source but loved the anime. So my question is, can a good studio save a bad or meh source material when adapting it into anime?
Yes.
Sure, but I think if a source material is bad, then it shouldn't have had an anime anyway.
Well, okay, like, the way I look at this is basically, first of all, I have to disagree with Sammy. I think I see the opposite way more, but
I
sure.
do.
But like I understand what he means, and it's like kind of what I've said always is
Looking at you,
next
Fuka.
season we have
Garbage.
we have the second season of Blood Blockade Battlefront coming out, which I'm not excited about because Blood Blockade Battlefront is, or Kekkai Sensen, is not a very good manga by the mangaka who made Trigun, but Blood Blockade Battlefront is not a very good manga. However, the anime is pretty good. Now, the reason why I'm not excited for a second season is because Ria Matsumoto, who made Blood Blockade Battlefront and changed it to be as good as it was, is no longer involved. So that, doesn't bring me much hope. But
Well, a good like kind of descriptor is when you see series like the original Hellsing, which was basically just the concept of Hellsing, and then they did whatever they wanted. And then you have the re-release later of Hellsing Ultimate, which was just the manga.
Yeah.
And the manga did much better. Like, the manga's roots did much better in anime form. And it's almost like it was because it was properly thought out by someone whose job it is to write, as opposed to someone whose job it is to draw, thinking of it.
Mhm.
Or someone who just plans things and doesn't really properly set up that exposition.
Mm-hmm. But they also went like a step beyond when it came to like just making Hellsing Ultimate as well. Just when you look at the production of that thing, and when you look at even people's reactions and just how like Hellsing was psychotic in a way.
It's one of the last great
But
openings,
Hellsing
I'll tell you
Ultimate
that.
but Hellsing Ultimate was like psychotic plus. That was like
it's almost
real.
like it was some kind of, I don't know, vampire story.
I know,
Where
but that's
your main character shot a gun fucking ripping people in half.
Yep, but that's kind of, I feel like, the problem with like the original Hellsing, because it felt like they tried to ground it too much. Like, okay, let's not go too crazy. And then Hellsing Ultimate was just like, too crazy? There is no such thing as too crazy.
And I'm waiting for Drifter's Ultimate, because then I'll
Same.
actually watch it.
I mean, Drifters was okay.
Bring it to me.
But,
See, I look at this question and I'm going to take it with, I find sports manga quite boring and uninteresting, but I find the anime adaptations to be much more intense and watchable or consuming.
I have
Say
a
that to
similar
All Out.
experience, but basically the opposite, where I hate shonen anime.
But
I
you
love
like the
shonen
manga?
I like it. And I think it has a lot to do with I can maintain whatever pace I want while reading.
Okay.
But while you're watching an anime, you're locked into their pace. Whatever pace they want to set is what you're locked into.
Sure, there is a distinct advantage to that.
Well, and shonen anime usually tends to try to be an epic, or
Yes.
too long, longer than it deserves to be. For instance, the original Fullmetal Alchemist was 48 episodes, something like that,
right.
and the manga, which I have in there, is 27 volumes. That means they were doing 2 episodes of volume. I mean, obviously there was some faster, some slower, but on average, that's what they were doing. That's great. That pace is fine. That's a quick pace.
I think Soul Eater was very similar, was it not?
Yeah, but then you have something like One Piece, where
Ah,
they're releasing 1 chapter a week per episode,
sure.
and that's incredibly slow. That's 6 episodes of volume.
It has gotten a lot slower. What One Piece has done, and I don't agree with it, because it was very noticeable in the Dressrosa arc.
As soon as you hit where the manga is, it just grinds to a halt.
The pace got pretty bad. There was 6 to 8 minute recaps to start each episode, plus a 4-minute hyped ending. So you really only were getting about 14 to 16 minute episodes.
And then you have the opposite in the case of My Hero Academia, where now they take half a year break in between releasing seasons.
Yeah.
For the
But
manga
even-
to continue releasing, because the manga is weekly released. It doesn't skip a week.
Well, that's what's kind of interesting there as well, is because people have pointed this out as well with My Hero Academia, because My Hero Academia is also paced very slow in terms of like how much of the manga it adapts. I think it also still sticks at about a chapter an episode, right around there, something like that. For the most part, in at least the first season, I remember people talking about that. But I don't know, I find that kind of interesting because I don't remember his name right now off the top of my head. But the director who is directing My Hero Academia, he's like kind of known for this being his style. when he adapts something, he likes to take his time with it and kind of flesh out each chapter in terms of anime. Like, he doesn't just want to take, like, a bunch of chapters and try to make that into an episode. He kind of wants to work with, like, a certain, like, limit of material, whether that be a chapter or 2 chapters or whatever, and then kind of expand on that into an episode, which I find kind of interesting, because at least he knows what he's doing, and he's doing it on purpose.
Yeah, well, it seems like that's properly his style, though, and that's why it works for him. Whereas in One Piece, I feel like you can feel that they had to grind it to a halt.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, and that's kind of the same thing when I was watching Fairy Tail, because you can just feel when they enter a filler arc there when they've caught up to the manga, because everything just stops. And even like when you're coming to the end of like an arc and they're almost catching up to the manga, like it just feels like everything is just sitting down and going like, nah, we can't go any further than this, so you're just sitting around waiting for episode upon episode upon episode upon episode until they eventually reach that point where they say, you know what, we actually can't continue this. It's impossible. We have run out of filler content. We have run out of manga. We have to stop and then keep going later.
What studio did One Punch Man and
Madhouse?
Well, Bones, but I mean Madhouse.
Madhouse?
Madhouse has their name on
and
it.
Mob Psycho. Is it Bones?
Bones said
Psycho's
Mob
Bones.
Psycho.
Okay, so Bones has a history then of taking kind of a let's face it, One Punch Man and Mob Psycho's art is very simplistic. It's not very good. Attack on Titan is very similar in that aspect.
Well, One Punch Man's art is very different because it was redrawn by the actual artist for Ice Shield 21.
Yep.
So
but
the art for One Punch Man is crazy.
The original art and source wasn't very good.
No,
Yes.
that is
So
also
when
a
it
web
was-
manga
when it
made by
was
a guy
picked-
who's never drawn in his life before doing
yeah.
that.
So it was picked up by people with more talent. And something, every time I see something adapted by Studio Bones, I feel like they did a better job with the source material than, say, another studio could have done.
Well, I feel like they filled their niche and they know exactly what their niche is. Unlike some studios that try to be jacks of all trades, like
Dio Media.
Sunrise. Sunrise needs to just stick to mecha because I'm really sick of the idol bullshit.
Yeah. No, of course Bones
But they make a
knows
ton of
what
money,
their
so, I
niche
mean,
is. Of course
I
Bones
can't blame
knows
them.
what their fans
Right.
want. Sakuga fags, all of them.
That's true.
So, Tori, we have another question.
We do, and that is by Mr. Semibolt.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, never heard of him.
Probably a turtle.
This must be his first question. Can good art and or animation save an anime? I've heard people say they didn't like a particular anime, but keep watching it because it looks pretty. Who hasn't? Can good art or animation save an anime?
No.
No. It cannot save a story because you kind of need a good story to have a good story. I mean, you can appreciate an anime for looking good. That was kind of how I started with Mob Psycho. I was like, this show looks fantastic, but God, I hate this show. And then after episode 3, I was, this show is freaking amazing and it looks great. So I will say for myself, being kind of a Sakuga fanboy as well, I can give a good-looking show more leeway, and I can, ignore flaws of story and character for longer. But ultimately, if all you have is a pretty exterior, Kiyoani, and no substance,
I agree.
if then you kind of end up with that. Yes, it looks good, and so what? There's a shit ton of shows out there that looks very good. Bones makes a lot of them, and
Well, I feel like that kind of stops the longer you've been watching, or the more you've seen. You stop, caring. Like, this show looks really good, so I'm going to keep watching it because it's pretty.
Yeah,
That seems like something you would do when you don't look for other things, when that's the only thing you're looking for.
unless you're IU.
That's pretty much anything from Kyo Animation, like you guys said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, just because Clannad looks good doesn't make it all that great.
hey,
Its art does not look good.
no, I agree.
Well,
Its animation's fucking amazing, but
the
its
question
art looks
says
not
art
good.
or animation.
Yeah. No, but that is like I've said, I understand. Like KyoAni, they have their niche. Again, they know what their niche is. People will buy anything they do, and I can totally get behind that. I also I understand why people look up to KyoAni. It's probably one of the best studios in terms of working conditions, and they produce quality animation. I'm not talking story. I'm
Polygon.
talking animation. Like, yeah, but even still, like, KyoAni is seen as the place to work, unless you want to work for, well, no longer Studio.
Unless you want to do something creative.
Unless you want to work under Hayao Miyazaki, which was what I was getting at. But, you know, who do you not respect your own life? So yeah, but KyoAni is the, like, number one place that people want to work. It is considered the, like, top studio to work at, good conditions, and they always produce quality content in terms of animation. Are their stories good? That can be discussed, but it depends. I mean, they made Nichijou. Nichijou was fun.
Yeah, but it's a comedy. There's no story.
They also made Free.
They did make Free, and I haven't seen Free, so fuck that show.
So, one anime that came out in the summer season comes to mind, and that's Katsugeki Token Rambu.
Oh, God,
it looks
no.
great.
UFO table?
That is UFO table, yeah.
Alright.
It looks great, but the story's not there. It's very bland. The characters are very, they feel trope-ridden for men. And that's something, that's something that we're definitely seeing a rise in for more of the yaoi yuri kind of direction. But just because that show looked good, didn't make it inherently interesting or good. And I hope that... Actually, no, you can see this at the beginning of seasons, where even Princess Principal looks pretty good. It's very vibrant colors, good setting, environment, atmosphere. The backgrounds look good, and then as these two shows went on, more and more people started realizing, this isn't that all that great.
Look at Kakegurui.
Because their visual orgasms have finally passed, and realized that maybe I didn't orgasm as good as I thought I did.
Well, the thing is, like,
how's that for an analogy?
when it comes to Token Rambu, the thing there is, it's kind of important to remember that is also based on a, like, web game. It's weird, right? You're trying to make a story for a show or for a game that doesn't really have a story as far as I'm concerned. Right, the story is very much based in history, which is why also the theme of the show is history, or rather, changing history.
I mean, Fate Go worked, and that has no story.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm not saying it's not impossible. I'm not saying that Token Rambu is good either. I got bored of it, but the thing is, like, but the thing is, Token Rambu is a show that kind of just. Along with a lot of other shows, especially a lot of, like, web games or mobile games that get made into anime, it's a show that tries very hard to basically please the fans of the game. So it's like you basically just get to see the characters that you fell in love with in the game. Now they actually move around and do shit instead of just, being drawings on a screen with text. So it's kind of, they serve their niche, but, like, for people that don't know the game, they're obviously not going to enjoy it. Like, I can't even remember how many times people have asked me, like, or commented, I don't understand. Is there even a story in Token Rambu? Like, I don't understand what is happening. And I can't blame them, because I understand where the confusion comes from, because, well, they don't know the game. I have never played the game, but I've talked to enough people who have played the game that I at least kind of very basically understand why the premise is what it is and why they're doing what they're doing. But to most people who just kind of goes blind into this, they'll look at this and go like, okay, Ufotable, look at these cool fights, look at these particle effects, and what the hell is happening? And look at these backgrounds. I remember them from Fate and anything else Ufotable's ever done, because their goddamn CG background guy, he's still making the same background.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I think, UFO Table's so reliant on the Type Moon universe at this point.
They're going to run out soon. That is their everything.
Yeah, they're based on the one writer, essentially.
Yeah. And they're also not a great writer, but...
I mean, you can also see, they're kind of trying to, they're big, Ufotable's big on, like, the Tales games as well. They produce animation for the Tales games. So
yeah, if only the Tales games had interesting stories.
So yeah, but they're trying to, kind of merge that with their anime studio as well. That's why they're really trying to pump out, like, the Tales anime as well. So I can definitely see that once Fate goes away, Tales is going to be like their next quote unquote cash cow. Is it going to be as big as Fate? probably not.
No.
Nah, I mean, in Japan
I can still
maybe,
see,
but
No.
yeah, but I can still
internationally,
see,
probably not.
I can still see that like them and their like Tales of adaptations still doing pretty well for them. But yeah, no, it's not gonna be Fate.
Joe, look up Tales of Zestiria anime success. I'm very curious to see how successful that was.
In Japan, it was very successful. They had giant events outside of the Ufotable store or Ufotable
Oh, that's Forbes.
office.
Don't go there. Yeah, we'll go with Kotaku. Why not?
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, except for when they blatantly lie, I guess.
Yeah, they're great.
So it's kind of saying that it didn't really. I mean, it was received well enough, but not as much as they'd want in Japan.
That doesn't sound correct. That doesn't sound correct to me. If you just saw the giant fucking Tales of festivals they had there during the watch it at, they fucking rented an entire city just to have that thing.
Yeah,
I don't think.
No, but it looks like it was expected to be bigger.
Well,
because I know there's a lot of Tales fans out there.
But, I mean, that's kind of, we have a movie that came out now, a fireworks movie that Shaft did, which I'm interested in watching because it looks good.
Right.
But I don't think it's actually going to be that good. That was expected to be the next Your Name in terms of financial success. And surprise, it is not. Right? It still did okay, as far as I understand, in Japan. Like, people went to see it because they were interested, but nowhere, like, it's no Your Name. So in that sense, is it a failure? Yes. Does that necessarily mean that it's, is it bad? No. But when you expect something from something, or like when you expect a lot from something, you do end up disappointed, and you might even end up making losses. That depends on how much they put into it, but I don't know. And in terms of Ufotable, like when it comes to them saying something is not a success in terms of what they wanted from it, I can understand, but I don't actually know like how much they put into it because, we will never know because the exact numbers, and that's kind of what I want to get to here and that goes to when you say it's not as successful as they wanted to. That is also technically just speculations because the numbers, the actual numbers, the hard numbers of sales and income and how much was spent on it and everything like that, like how much the studio paid to make it, how much investors put into this and whatever, that is never made public. So it's like, it's all just kind of based on hearsay and people saying, oh, I think this and I have a contact that says this and blah, 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 blah.
Well, no shit. That's like asking me what my bank account has in it. Of course, they're not going to publish it if they don't have to.
Right.
Yep.
But the Tales games themselves don't cost a whole hell of a lot. I can't imagine the anime and the animators that they pay are top of the line kind of people.
Quote unquote pay.
Yeah, the ones that I mean they get something.
Well, it's UFO table. They probably just reused assets from the games.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't imagine it cost a whole hell of a lot more.
Essentially using like 3D to rotoscope, quote unquote, because you're just tracing over things that already exist in the game and then making them anime.
Yeah.
So they don't have to pay like proper designers and stuff to do all that again. They've already done the work. Or
they already
the game studio did the work already.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you save money there, but it seems to me like people's biggest issue. I'm just reading reviews right now of this is people say the story's not great, and I mean,
well, that's Tales. That's all Tales games.
Yeah, but it's a JRPG, and that's kind of like the entire point of any of them.
Well, back in the 90s. So back in the 90s, you have things like Suikoden, the Final Fantasy series, Dragon Warrior / Quest, Lunar.
Mm-hmm.
They all kind of had that same fantasy element to it. Tales is no exception. Where Tales starts to differ is where Final Fantasy. Let's stay on Final Fantasy. Each individual game has an individual story. So does Tales.
Mm-hmm.
However, Final Fantasy does something where they'll change the environment, they'll change characters, they'll change what they're going. at the beginning it was 4 Warriors of Light going for a crystal.
Mhm.
And when they got to, I believe, 7, that's when they started diverging from that path, and the games got more interesting.
Yeah.
It brought in a new fan base. It brought in a fresh take. Tales is always the same kind of medieval type magic environment. You go into a dungeon, and it's always like an old style. What's the word? An old building from a Lost Kingdom or something. And characters meet. They're all tropes, all of them, every time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just go get the thing in that old building, come back, go get the thing in the other building. Big bad sorcerer wants to do big bad things.
Mm-hmm.
That's every Tales game.
Yep.
And what's happening since the PS2 era is the Tales games just keep getting more and more minimalistic in what they do. The greatest example is with the Zestiria and Berseria franchises that they're making. Zestiria was the same old thing over again. The Berseria, they're just like, well, let's make them female now, all the characters, and you can change their clothes and be more skimpy. Clearly, they know what they're going for at this point.
Yeah.
They don't really care, and that's where the Tales franchise has completely lost me now.
It sounded like it started off as a dungeon crawler, like Diablo, kind of,
Uh,
but more open. Like, not strictly like crawling dungeons, but just that gameplay style where you go in, you loot everything you can, you come out, you sell what you need to.
right, and then there's a
repeat.
little cutscene where they have character interactions,
Yeah.
and that's it. It's become a very shallow franchise. It was shallow to begin with. Now it's even more so.
See,
And
that's
it
why
still does
I
well.
don't like series that release a ton of games, because Diablo's on what, 4? 3
I don't know. Plus a lot of
expansions.
expansions.
I'm
and
fine with expansions. Expansions make perfect sense because they're $10-15 and expand the life of the game for another year and a half.
Sure, I'm not totally against it.
So, and plus, I mean, then later on, when you have a game that's way over the $60 price tag, but they know they can't sell it anymore, you get the definitive edition, which is all the DLC, and you wind up with a game that's 1,000 hours now.
Yeah.
For $60.
What I wish, just staying on the topic of, let's say, anime adaptations of video games,
Mhm.
I wish they would expand. They would expand more. They would come up with an original side story, or you don't need to make it the same thing. Could you imagine an actual anime adaptation of, say, Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah,
Would it?
because Advent Children exists.
Advent Children does exist. I like it.
It's fine.
It's fine. Whether they could stay true to the source or just make a completely original story
Mhm.
or branch off from it, I think it's totally possible. And I'm not saying they should branch off from Final Fantasy VII. But for Tales, with such a bare bones story, they could do so much more. They could pretty much just come up with their own thing.
All they would need to do, they wouldn't even need to follow the main cast at all.
It could be a village.
Place it in the same universe and have someone else trying to do something similar, and they can fail at the end. Failing's possible. You could totally end it that
Mhm.
way. And and then, the last episode, he walks into the final dungeon or whatever, and you just see the cast of the game walking out. It doesn't need to be anything fucking grand.
Oh, that would be cool.
Because they lost, they failed, they won.
That would be
The
cool.
people you play did it.
Yeah, and if you want to see them win, you play the game.
Yep.
That's original thinking.
Yeah.
And in terms of Tales and video game adaptations or anime adaptations of video games, they don't really do that.
Especially because, most video game adaptations, I feel, are always better suited to be movies. Or movie trilogies. I don't think OVAs and TV series are the proper form. Games are long. You want time to expand. You don't want to break every week to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind watching an hour OVA and then waiting, 2 months, and then watching another one.
A good example of that would be the Xenosaga franchise on the PS2, where they're like 45-minute cutscenes. You're watching essentially an OVA, and then you play part of the game, then you watch another 45-minute thing. It's definitely a different experience. If you can get your hands on a game like that, it's Metal Gear Solid 4 for sure.
Yeah, well, it's a cinematic, essentially.
It's a cinematic experience.
Or Guilty Gear Revelator 2, you can actually just watch the story without doing any of the fights.
Yes.
You can straight up watch it as an anime.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't need to play the story at all.
No. All right. I think we hit the hour. I think it's time for a main discussion.
Yay!
As I write this down, 60 minutes. All right. Binge versus weekly watching.
I'm a binge watcher. Heavy.
Yeah, you can tell.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Daddy.
in the 90s,
Oh no. Story
whether it
time
was
with Grandpa.
Toonami or something, yeah, it's story time.
With Grandpa.
In the 90s, whether it was on Toonami or Sci-Fi Channel or WB, whatever station it was, you were either going to watch this at 4 o'clock after school every day, repeated episodes, whatever it may be, or you even go into something like Hollywood Video, Blockbuster, some rental video store, and you would watch what was available. Now with the internet and sites and things like Crunchyroll, Funimation, Anime Strike, you can now watch entire series on a backlog as opposed to watching something seasonal. A lot of fans, let's take some fans in our community, whether it's, let's say, Crash, for example. He watches seasonal anime, and I've had this discussion, or a small one. Because I don't like, everybody has this backlog. He has a backlog. In fact,
I have a backlog.
he's actually going back now and writing little reviews on our Mal group page. Haha, see what I did there?
I do.
Because he's not getting into the seasonal anime anymore. When he was in the seasonal anime, nothing on the backlog was getting fixed. All this old anime that could be watched wasn't getting done.
Oh, because you're busy.
Because you're busy.
Watching what's new. And you just get caught up in it. You don't want to sit there and watch 9 hours like Hickey did the other week.
Right.
That destroyed him.
Oh yeah, he's sick. Well, that's kind of why he's not on the podcast right now. He's like, I got studies to do. I got lawyer stuff. So, fans back when, say, you and I were, we were subjected only to what was available on TV and stores.
Mm-hmm.
So it's whatever we could get our hands on, or just accept what was available. Modern fans now, I feel, binge watch more.
Yeah, well, I mean, once Netflix came to be, binge watching became the norm for everything.
Exactly. Not just anime. TV shows. Game of Thrones being done in Battlestar Galactica was out for 15 years. You watch the whole thing in 2 days.
Yeah. That just became the norm now. I've always been into binge watching anyway. Like, whenever I could get a full DVD or VHS or something, I'd watch the whole thing.
Oh, sure.
Because I feel like most series, and I'm totally wrong here, but this is just how I feel about it. I feel like most series were meant to be watched without stopping, so you don't forget shit.
Or at least important stuff.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm dumb, you see.
Aww.
So I'll randomly forget shit. And I'll go back and people are like, what do you mean? This happened.
I don't remember
You don't
that.
fucking say. And I'll go back and rewatch it. Yeah, sure as shit it happened and I missed it. And you know why I missed it? Because I waited fucking 2 weeks to watch the next episode.
Right.
That is your problem.
Yeah, I know. That's why I watched NGE in one sitting.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I am like when it comes to me watching anime, like I do it both. I started binging, then I got into seasonal anime, so I started watching weekly, and now I kind of do both. And I feel like for me it's weird to not do both. I need something to binge always, but I also need something to watch week to week because I enjoy watching stuff as it comes out and on a week to week basis because I don't know. It feels like I'm not pressed for time, unlike when I actually did like Hickey and I watched everything that came out in the season because that is when you're pressed for time. Because even if you're only watching it week by week, there's so much releasing that God killed me. And even then, when I was watching everything, they didn't release as much in the season as they do now. So I feel sorry for Hickey. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, no, for me, I need both. I need something to binge and I need something to watch weekly. Binging I enjoy because it's nice to have something that you can just sit down and you can just sit down and watch like 5 episodes in a go and you're like, yes, good. Or if you're crazy and you decide to watch it all in a go, then you can do that too. It's nice, right? You just You sat there, you wasted a day, you completed a series. Hey, you didn't have anything else to do either that day. Like, it's fun.
Well, I also feel like one of the bigger problems. I don't know if it is for you guys, but for me, I feel like I'm not part of the current seasonal anime fandom. Mm-hmm. Nothing that releases seasonally usually I give a shit about. I just don't care.
Joe?
Yeah.
It depends.
Made in Abyss.
Made in Abyss, yeah.
has come out.
It depends on what it is, though, right?
So
because
did
I
Berserk.
feel that sometimes I'm
But Made in
struggling.
Abyss is good, and Berserk didn't actually come out.
Okay.
I
It's
know.
a figment of our imagination.
But
My
I'm
collective
struggling, right?
unconscious.
I'm struggling, right? Because next season, there's going to be a show releasing called, Black Clover? Which has
Yes.
basically everybody talking because, you have the half that is like, oh, this is the Naruto ripoff, and it's going to be terrible, and I need to check
it's
it out.
the Boruto's dad ripoff.
Okay, yeah, Boruto's dad ripoff, sorry.
And just rip off what was popular before them. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Yep.
Fist
And
of
then
the North
it's
Star.
yeah, and then you have the
Jonas.
other. Then you have the other.
Well, the manga, yeah. Manga
then-
started in the 80s, did it not?
Jesus, can you guys stop?
Fist of the North Star directly actually influenced Jonathan
Then
Joestar.
you have the other side of the people who is like sitting there going, like, oh, this is the next big show coming out. This is the next My Hero Academia. This is the long running shonen. This is the show, and it's kind of I'm struggling because like half of me kind of wants to I should at least give it a chance just to be part of this conversation, and then you have the irrational side of me who is going, well, you hate shonen. What makes you think that this is going to be any different? You already have your exception, and that is My Hero Academia, and that's ending. Do you really think that Black Clover is going to be just like My Hero Academia? And I go, no, not really. Right? So it's like it's hard sometimes because I like being part of the conversation, but it's also kind of, and a lot of the time I feel like I am in this in some way, but it's kind of trying to find that show for me that I can be a part of the conversation, like Made in Abyss this season or Kakegurui, because I mean, talking about Kakegurui is easy. Just, make weird faces and scream as loud as you can while pleasuring yourself.
Be my normal self. Got it.
Yep. Wait, do you do that and pleasure yourself at the same time? God,
Yeah.
you
If
weirdo.
you want voice chat.
You weirdo.
So clearly, the more into a show you are, the more you're inclined to binge watch it.
Basically. But
I
it
think
also
just in
depends.
general, I'm more inclined to binge watch it if it's available to me.
It's definitely a new mindset. But okay, how about this? When I was young, I would videotape, record what was on TV, and then I would later be able to pop that VHS in and watch 10, 12 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
Of course, across like
Grandpa.
2 or 3 tapes, but
Clearly, I mean, there were 2 or 3 a tape, maybe. And that's if you could get rid of the
I think it was
commercials?
about 6. I think it was about 6 when it was all said and done per tape.
That's hardcore. Those
Yeah.
are big ass tapes.
Yeah, they were.
I think 2 hours was about to go, so you might be like a 4 out of them.
I think I have. Yeah, there's a box somewhere in my mom's attic back down in Houston, totally not flooded.
Yeah.
Where there's all 50 episodes of Gundam Wing, 150 of Dragon Ball, probably all of Dragon Ball Z up until the Cell arc.
Mm-hmm.
Basically anything that was on Toonami in sci-fi.
Yeah.
So I would definitely binge watch those shows, especially if, and this was very common back then, they would have, let's take Dragon Ball Z as a great example. They would have 25, 50 episodes over the year. Then they would, instead of continuing, it would restart, replay those 50 again, and then have a new 50. So you're waiting a year for the new episodes to come out, and you're just suffering through reruns.
What I would usually do in those times is, Toonami was good for this, and Adult Swim picked up later. What they used to do is they would release weekly, just normally, or daily, or however they did it. And then when they finally finished either that arc, they would just do the entire thing in one day. They would binge the whole thing.
They did end up doing that eventually, and I'm thinking that's what because Toonami's back now.
Mm-hmm.
They got pretty much a shonen lineup,
Yeah.
and that seems to be what they're doing.
Well, now it makes perfect sense. Back in the 90s and the early 2000s, it was like, okay, do you want to watch The Simpsons for 3.5 hours?
No.
People say no. People now, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course I do. That's exactly the way to watch it. And it's that same mentality is kind of moving forward. So that's kind of where we sit. Now it's totally common to binge watch things, and it's also totally common to sit in on a season and watch it one day at a time as they come up.
Have you found yourself, Tori? You kind of mentioned this earlier, or hinted at it. I didn't go into quite particular details of. Are there any shows that you have? Let's take in the last year, okay? That you have really liked from a seasonal anime, but you go, you know what? I'm gonna wait till the whole season finishes and then watch it.
No.
Or there's a series that you go, I'd prefer to watch this on a weekly basis.
There's one this season.
Okay.
Like I said,
Kakegurui. I'm waiting until it all comes out.
Oh, you're lame.
Well, that and Netflix has a better player than fucking Kiss Anime.
What's the reasoning for it?
Because I feel like I should watch the whole thing in one go. It seems like a spastic kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be better suited to be watched in a movie format as opposed to 1 week and then wait, and then 1 week and then wait for the shitty quality rip that's just full of fucking spelling errors, and then wait a week, and then have that shitty 480p quality with spelling errors and fucking mistranslations everywhere. I would rather just wait for Netflix to do it.
See, here's where I disagree with you.
Watch that shit in beautiful 4K.
Here's where I disagree with you, because it's like, I understand why you would think that, but for me, I think, for me, watching Kakegurui weekly, or not weekly, binge watching it all in one go, would be kind of like, feels to me like it would kind of have the same effect as it had on, when I was watching, what's it called? Oh my god, I can't even remember. Oh my god, the student council president, the dick joke one. God damn it.
Setokai Yakuin
Yes, Setokai Yakuin when I was watching that. Because I binged
Good accent, by the way.
Thank you.
I binged that. I binge watched that show so hard. That show was hilarious to me. So I just kept going from episode to episode to episode to episode, and it had 2 seasons out. And I basically finished them all within 3 days, I think. 3-4 days. And the sad part was, it was hilarious at first. And by day 4, when I finished it, or 3 or 4, I was very tired of it. And the reason is because ultimately, it all comes down to them not repeating the same joke, but having the exact same formula of joke every time. It basically all ends up the same way anyways. And I feel Kakegurui, if I were to point out flaws, that is the flaw Kakegurui have as well. It all ultimately ends up in the same way. And it kind of, it's extremely formulaic in this presentation. I feel like watching that too fast will tire you of it more.
There's nothing wrong with stopping, right? Like, that's totally...
No, I'm aware, but that is why I'm saying, for me, that is why I disagree with the whole binge-watching mentality, right? I don't disagree with binge-watching. Then you
stop, and then you do it again later.
Yeah, but even still, my point is, I need that week break if I'm supposed to be able to handle that, because for me to just say I stop and I don't watch it for a day or whatever, that is not enough. I'm still tired of that. I could be tired of that for months, and I don't want to end up like Sammy, who watches 3 episodes or something, and then decides to watch something else because he got bored, and then 5 months later he remembers, oh, shit. Or 5 months later, so what happened to that show you were watching? And he goes, right.
Oops, I forgot about it.
That show. Or like he does with Cowboy Bebop, where he's tried to watch it 5-6 times now, and he always ends up going, nah, I don't like it. Only then a couple months later go, I really want to try watching it again. It's like, god damn it, Sammy. Either finish it or don't.
There's so in a case of for me, One Piece and Detective Conan, and most shonen anime I find are much easier to intake and watch in a binge watching format, especially when it comes to things being broken up into large arcs. So what I've ended up being or done is I wait like a year for episodes to come out, and it's anywhere from 25 to 50 episodes depending on fillers, as in the case in Detective Conan with anime originals for TV. So instead of waiting week to week for shows like that, wait a year, have a big chunk come out, then watch them all. That to me is more palatable to intake two of my favorite shows. At least now. I tried doing One Piece on a week-to-week basis, and it just doesn't work for that show.
No.
Because then you feel like nothing happened.
Because nothing happened.
Well,
Yeah.
well, no, things happen in the show, but
Sure.
because because of the way it's presented, if you watch an hour of One Piece, you feel like so much happened. If you watch 14 minutes of One Piece, you go, oh no, all I realize is they threw a couple punches, had some exposition. That's when you'd say nothing happened. It's a much different feeling. Another example would be when Attack on Titan was coming out. I waited for that to finish. My brother said, this is great. He was watching it week to week.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's the shonen master, isn't he?
Well, my little brother, yeah, he does watch basically just shonen. That's all he watched. He did watch Parasite, and he was the one that recommended that to me.
Parasite is shonen.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a type, but it's not, just guys fighting, trying to be the strongest superpowers. It's not in that same sense of shonen.
Just guy fighting, trying to be the strongest superpowers.
Just literally that, yeah, nothing major. He's using his superpower to be the strongest.
Well, it was an alien.
He's the mightiest disciple.
That
Anyways.
is his superpower.
When Attack on Titan got to the point where there was about 3 episodes where he's trying to move a boulder to block a gate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When people were watching that week to week, now they make the joke, oh, it took like 9 episodes to do it. It was really irritating. The pacing was bad.
Yeah, because you sat there for almost a month.
Because it was 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And it felt a lot longer. When I watched it, and I watched it in one
It
go,
was an hour.
I was like, that pacing seemed great.
That
But
was
if-
1 hour
yeah.
long. Who cared?
Because that's, to me, Shonen's meant to be binged, as you said, in a movie format.
Yeah. It should
Yeah.
just be released as movies, honestly. But, I mean, I know that's not profitable, so they're not going to do that.
Right.
Mhm.
So, in that sense, I think it also depends on the genre. In the sense of, say, something along the lines of an episodic show, Space Dandy, Cowboy Bebop, Kakaguri feels kind of episodic to me in a way. Made in Abyss even feels kind of episodic. Watching those kinds of shows week to week,
yeah.
it doesn't feel like I need to be inclined to just watch the next episode
Yeah.
right
So you
away.
You kind of answered the thing I wanted to ask, like the question I wanted to ask, and that was, how do you feel like? What do you think is better to binge watch, a show with an overarching story or like episodic anime?
I think
Because-
the best thing to binge is something with defined arcs. So shonen is proper binge material because it's like, oh, it's a tournament arc. We're gonna watch the whole thing in one sitting. Oh, it's a training arc. We're gonna watch the whole thing in one sitting, and that's gonna be it.
Oh man, yeah, I remember watching Yu Yu Hakusho growing up with my brother, and it took years, years
Yeah.
to watch the Dark Tournament.
Well,
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, it was such a journey. You're just like, oh my god, thank God it's over. But then if
me-
you watch it in one go, it was so much better.
For me, it was kind of always obvious. Like what I I always kind of thought I would rather binge watch something with like overarching stories because obviously easier to pay attention to the story when you've watched multiple episodes in one go. But I can also kind of feel myself now when I'm doing the quest, and particularly like a show right now I'm watching like Cat's Eye, which is completely episodic. It does have an end goal, but it is completely episodic in nature. And I don't know, I kind of feel like that show, it doesn't have a whole lot of progression because it doesn't really feel like you're progressing towards anything.
Right.
But at the same time, I feel like it's more fun to watch because I've tried watching only a single episode a day, and now I'm watching it like 3 episodes a day. And I feel like I get more enjoyment out of it watching the more episodes in a row I watch than if I watch less. Because if I watch only 1 episode at a time, I get bored very easy of that show, and I go to the next episode and I'm like, yeah, but what's the point? Nothing's happening. Like, okay, they went out and stole something again, rinse and repeat, right? So it's kind of like, but now it's kind of changed because now stuff is after the character art upgrade, or at least changing of character art, stuff has kind of started happening, and they're tackling each episode. Still similar, but also kind of different, which hopefully I'm hoping that leads to them finally, not necessarily getting into a, overarching story, but finally, hopefully that means they're going to start, seeming like they're working towards their final goal and not just, oh, yes, we stole this painting this time. It's very cool. By the way, Toshi's an idiot.
What do you guys feel about the genres romance and comedy, even together or separate, watching that as weekly and binge watching? For me personally, comedic anime, such as the Gintama, Ranma, I watch those in maybe 1 or 2 episode chunks, and then maybe a few days later go back, watch another episode. That's not very, even a week later. Those anime in particular feel very just more suited to watching on a weekly basis or a more sporadic one.
Yeah.
For comedy, I watch it until I'm bored of it, and then I stop. And then for romance, I'll keep watching until something aggravates me or I decide to stop, really. I mean, for the most part, when I start watching romance, I watch it until it's done. Because I want to know the ending, and I don't really care about the downtime.
Yep. Comedy, for me, is... I prefer watching that in slower, so I really do like watching comedy week to week, because it doesn't kill the joke as much for me. I feel like
there you go.
Jokes,
right,
jokes
so
die
in the
for
same
me.
ballpark as me on that one.
Jokes for me die way too easily. Even jokes I find funny, it's like, it doesn't even have to be the same jokes. It's just when I feel like, the moment I'm like sitting there and I'm picking up on the formula of the jokes, and I'm basically doing the jokes along with the show, and that's when I'm bored with it. And that's not a great feeling, because I don't tend to make a comeback from that. It doesn't become funny to me again after that. The jokes run its course for me. So I need to kind of digest it in smaller doses and then kind of just, keep going like that. And when it comes to romance, I also kind of like watching that weekly. It's just, but it depends. I mean, I watched Golden Time weekly when that came out. And after especially episode 16, I'm pretty sure it was 16, something happens. And I remember I was behind on my anime watching, and I was like, I'm gonna catch up on all my anime, and it wasn't even getting late, but it was at night, and then I decided to start off with my favorite anime from that season, so I decided to start off with Golden Time. This is gonna give me the motivation to watch everything, and I watched that episode, and the shock happens, and I'm sitting there when the episode's over going, I don't want to watch anything else, I just want the next episode right now. So I ended up just kind of sitting there by myself for a little while for an hour or something, until not really watching anything, and it kind of just saying, I'm just going to go to bed. I'll watch more anime tomorrow. So yeah, it depends. Like, if something happens that I really care about, then, I want more than one episode at a time. But ultimately...
Naturally, it depends on your personal feelings, but like I said, something... Gintama's a very good example, I believe, of a show that's more suited for a weekly watch, even though that's still pretty shonen. It's one of the kings. It's just the comedy is over that shonen action feel to it. It's not going to be 50 episodes in a row type One Piece situation.
You know what comedy I think really suits itself to binge watching?
Okay.
TQ. A season's over in 20 minutes anyways. I don't think
Tori.
anybody, and nobody wants to watch TQ in 2-minute chunks. I'm sorry.
I don't know, Tori. My mental capacity couldn't really handle binge watching TQ.
And you still did.
Well, I think one of the worst things to binge watch is Iyashi K series. So like Mushishi would be terrible to binge.
I can agree to that, because I
that would go with that whole episodic feel.
Well,
mentioning earlier,
it's a little different than just being episodic. It's episodic, but it's also exclusively nothing happens.
An excruciatingly slower pace.
Well, it's because it takes time to do everything. It has a story, and you're following your traveler the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But the series was made to make you calm.
Of course,
it was made to level you, not just like Cowboy Bebop, which was made to have no overarching story till the end. but ultimately still packed with action.
Right.
It's like comparing sleeping to, standing in place. If you're sleeping, you're doing nothing. You're just relaxing. You're calm. You're just standing in place. Well, you're just standing, but I mean, you're still putting pressure on your muscles. You're still putting pressure on your ankles, your joints. You're still doing something, as opposed to a series like Mushishi, which is just calm, relaxing. Like, if you start binging it, you're probably going to pass out where you are.
Right.
Yeah. I can kind of attest to that because when I watch Mushishi, I've only watched the first season. Like I've said, I'm not the biggest fan of Mushishi. The problem I had with it was because I did binge watch it. I did try watching like 5 episodes at a time, and it doesn't work out for the show very well. Like, it's not necessarily that it makes the show seem bad, but it's just you're kind of sitting there going like, you've spent 2.5 hours watching anime, and you're kind of like, so what did I actually get from this? Nothing really. Right, so it's like that feel like a good 2.5 2.5 hours. No, not 2.5 hours. 1.5 hours. Well spent watching anime. No, not really.
There's a few more genres that come to mind with how they separate. So we've gone over, say, the action adventure genre as watching an incredibly amount episodes in an incredible amount, a high pace, 20 to 50 episodes at a time. The comedy, more of the weekly, episodic type. Joe, you were different on Tori and I with romance, where you kind of want to finish the romance.
Yeah, I want to know
aspects.
what happens.
That's you want to know what happens, obviously. But me and Tori were in the boat where romance is at a slower pace comparatively to other types of shows.
It can be. The problem being, we talked about this a while ago, where I think most romance are portrayed juvenilely.
Yes, that was on a past podcast episode we did.
I don't think I need them to burn, because it's clear that the people who are making the series, or whoever wrote it, or at some point in the process, someone doesn't understand why it should be slow. Because I get it should be slow. Like, I understand that, romance takes time and blah, 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 blah. But when you portray it as something that looks like, junior high, fucking kiddie shit.
Yeah.
You're just like, well, I really don't care that you want to develop their relationship in big giant quotes because people listen to this and aren't sitting next to me.
So there, where I was going with this, if you don't mind, Tori.
Can I just shoot in here because this is kind of related to what Joe just said? Then you have the opposite to that, where it's, you say in romance they will often they often try to slow it down, like build relationship or whatnot. Even if you do feel it juvenile, that's fine. But then you have like the other, in my opinion, when it comes to slow, and that is My Love Story, which is kind of that was hyped up as that, like, oh, finally romance done right because they get together early on and then it's about their relationship. But that was slow in the other sense because it felt like they didn't really know what to do with it in the other sense because they kind of just got together very early on and then nothing. They did nothing for the rest of the show at all. They were together. They barely even held hands before the final episode. Right. I'm kind of sitting there, it's like, okay, and how is this different from, romance shows that spend the entire run building up to them getting together on the final episode versus a show where they get together in like the first couple episodes and then spend that entire time doing nothing until they hold hands in the final episode.
Well, that's the thing.
The same thing.
What most romance do is, they just have them do nothing until the final episode. Then he goes, Daisuki, and then they get together.
Yeah.
In Ore Monogatari, it's, I love you, Daisuki. Let's get together. This is episode 1. And then nothing happens after.
Yeah, the consensus on that is they should have had more more conflict.
Just
like what it takes to be a part of the relationship. They didn't really do it that much, and that was the issue. It wouldn't have
even needed to be conflict. It just needed to be something.
The consensus that season was that it needed more episodes, and I don't understand.
it just needed something. It needed them to talk. It needed them to grow. And I mean, if you ask me, they didn't fucking grow at all. They got together and then maintained status quo from episode 2 to episode 12.
Right. Well, staying on topic here, where I was heading with this whole romance was going into the genre of mystery and suspense, or psychological.
Mhm.
Romance does kind of play into this, so bear with me for a second. The mystery, suspense, psychological generally end episodes on cliffhangers
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
up until they finish an arc. And from my experience in watching shows in these genres, they're in 3 to 4 episode chunks, maybe 2, in which the previous episode, Detective Conan, is a great example of this because that's mystery, where they'll have 2 to 3 episode chunks in which the previous episode will always end on a cliffhanger to motivate the viewer to, like, I gotta know what happens, I have to watch the next episode. And if it's out already, you want to watch it right away.
Yeah.
In that sense, it's what I'm going to dub, for all intents and purposes, is temporary binging.
Mhm.
Where you watch the arc of that mystery unfolding, and then you stop, wait for those 3 to come out again, and you do it over again. And what romance sometimes do, and that's how this plays into it, is they'll have a conflict in the romance. Let's say, for example, the guy in Nana at the beginning, she thinks her boyfriend's cheating on him. I want to know too. Is he fucking cheating on you, bitch? I'm gonna watch the next 2 episodes, or 3, or you know, that certain arc. But then once that conflict's over,
It's a breaking point.
it's a break point. So that's what I'm gonna deem as temporary binging.
Well, that's actually how I described watching shonen. Shonen is meant to be binged through arcs,
Those arcs are generally a lot longer, though.
but it's the same concept.
It is the same concept, but you're not waiting only 2 weeks for the arc to end. You're waiting anywhere from 6 months to a year.
Yeah, but I mean, you're watching a movie essentially. If it's 4 episodes, that's an hour 20 minutes.
Sure.
It's a movie. If it's 5 episodes, it's an hour 40 minutes. If it's 3 episodes, it's an hour. It's
Well,
an OVA.
you said you want to see that conflict end.
Yes.
And to me, romance doesn't always do that, but they do, while the mystery, suspense, psychological always do that.
Well, yeah, it's part of their structure.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mystery series that I watch, and I usually just binge them all. Mostly because I have a lot of free time on my hands, and because I don't have a problem with stopping for an hour and going to do something and coming back and then fucking playing again.
How dare you?
It's really not super challenging, I know. You can do other
No,
things.
it is.
This isn't like
No.
this isn't something like you sit down and you watch for 12 hours, hickey, and
Me.
oof. That hurt. Alright, anyway.
Must be a Brazilian thing, I don't know.
I don't know. So, I don't mind watching an entire series in a day. At all. It's normal for me to do. That doesn't mean I sit on my couch the entire time. I do other stuff.
Oh, you gotta take a break.
Yeah, there's...
Go make some food, go out do some errands, do adult things.
Well, even
Do
just...
teenager things.
Even just stand up and let your brain collect the data that you just stared at for 2 hours.
Well, here's an example then. The 3 Gundam movies that we're going to go over later.
Mhm.
I watched them
Okay.
in singular movie format. 1 movie a day, maybe the next day or 2 days later, watch the second one.
Same.
Because that was each movie felt like one arc
Mhm.
coming together. And I stopped in between each movie. I didn't just go 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So I don't know how Mech plays, but those were anywhere from 5 to 10, 12 episode arcs.
Yeah.
Mech is kind of a hybrid of all that. It's in between that suspense and shonen aspect.
It depends, because I think once you break into the mecha genre, you tend to have, instead of being the mecha genre and mecha is all inclusive like shonen,
Mhm.
it's like breaking shonen down to battle shonen and the rest.
Yeah.
Mech has robot tiers.
Sure.
Real robot, super robot, all the way up. Or all the way down from there, I guess, because we're at super robot.
So are we at the point in thinking that watching a show weekly to binging it, I think it depends on the genre. And if it's episodic. I think it depends on the genre and if it's episodic or not.
I don't know. For me, it's like I've said. When it comes to binging or not, I can do both. I'm not that fussed about. For me, that week break doesn't really matter. I like having it. That is why.
Well,
but I'm not gonna
if-
Let's put it this way. I will not watch something on an episode by episode basis, like an episode a day or on a weekly basis, unless it's something that's coming out, seasonally. I will not wait on a seasonal show because I hate waiting on a seasonal show, and if I do, I'm not going to watch it, most likely, because then it's out of season and I have other stuff I need to watch anyway. So it's one of those things like, I enjoy watching stuff seasonally. It's just a nice way for me to keep up with everything, and at the same time having time to watch, to put it bluntly, the shows that I actually care about.
So let me throw this question out there then. If let's say you're a new anime fan. Let's break this in twice. Break this in two. You're a new anime fan. You have been an anime fan for, let's say, a couple years now. If you were to give both those types of fans advice and how they should watch a show, what would your advice be? Because mine, I've said, I think it depends on the genre, and that's how it's meant to be watched.
Well, watch it until you're bored. There's no reason you can't stop.
But then you might not finish the show.
So what? Who cares? You're not chasing a fucking completion number. You watch it for entertainment until you start breaking that and you start looking at it in an academic sense.
And see, that is what I think, right? Because I think it's important to kind of find your own limit and kind of knowing that, because the thing you want to avoid essentially is you don't want to watch past that point that you can take. If you cannot take watching more than one episode a week, don't try to watch 5 episodes a day, right? There's no point. You're literally doing nothing to yourself other than burning yourself out. Even if people sit there and say, this show was best enjoyed, binged, that might be true for them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to enjoy binge watching a show if you're like strictly week to week watching kind of guy. So it's hard. Like I said, I started binge watching and kind of then found seasonal anime and started watching weekly, and now I do both, literally daily. So for me, I can do either, and it doesn't matter. There are, of course, like I've explained, exceptions where I don't enjoy binge watching them, even though I do. But for me, ultimately, the rule I try to follow is, like I say, I have my soft rule, which is I watch about 5 episodes of anime a day. The reason why it's a soft rule is if I don't feel like watching 5 episodes of anime a day, I'm not going to watch 5 episodes of anime a day because that burns me out. Then I get annoyed. Well,
that's the other thing. You want to avoid getting burned out, especially over something you enjoy.
Yeah, because the moment it starts feeling like this is a chore or a job, like, no, that's, why are you even watching anymore? There's no point. You don't enjoy this. For whatever reason, again, like Joe said, like, what are you doing? Are you chasing a completion number? Right? Or a lot of
people do these days.
Yeah, but I don't give a shit about them. If they don't enjoy it, then I'm fucking glad they don't.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing we've talked about, and I know this because I used to be a part of this group. The no dropping group. Like, no, I have to finish everything. Why? Like, I feel like that's kind of the negative with such as my anime list, because I feel like that spawns a lot of these, like, no, I need to watch everything that comes out in the season, or I need to not have anything drop because dropping is for losers and you don't give shows a chance, or blah blah blah. And it's like, well, really, ultimately, what have you gained from not dropping a single show? A higher completed anime number?
And a more bitter view on what you watched.
Yep.
Well, there's the case of watching Recreators and the Bullied Orphan Girl show this season. Thank God it's only weekly. I'm watching them to get an opinion over them.
Yeah, but did you enjoy talking about that with everybody?
Absolutely.
Well, then that was your point to watch the show.
That was the point to talk, and of course to get that so good opinion. But that show, those two shows, if those came out more than once a week, I might have been more inclined to drop it because I would have been watching something I didn't enjoy more frequently.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, but you also wouldn't have completed it if you weren't enjoying that discussion or anything like that. You would have just dropped it. Because why you're going to continue to subject yourself to something you don't like for a means of something that you also don't enjoy getting.
Well, I mean, Princess Principal is an example of, I know what it was, I'm probably not going to like it, it's not for me, I had a lot of issues with it, and I dropped it right away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you?
And plus, nobody was really talking about it other than they overhyped it hard.
Well, of course they did.
Of course they did.
There isn't any. That's because there isn't anything to talk about. I'm still watching Princess Principal, and I'm like, like to put it this way, I can almost kind of say it has 91 Day Syndrome, right? It's
It's interesting until the final episode.
No,
hey, I like the final.
I don't even think
91
91 days was that. Like, to me, it's kind of just spies doing spy things. Am I going to talk about the mission they're on? Right? Because no, like, there's a political conflict going on, and that is now being touched upon again with one episode left. But that is about it. They've kind of, I think there's been ultimately the political undertone and the political conflict that's going on. I think, apart from actually just being mentioned, they've actually like worked on that or dealt with that directly in like 3 out of 12 episodes. Right? It's like, so you're kind of sitting there like, I don't dislike Princess Principal, kind of because I do get some sort of enjoyment out of it. Although, like, it's not poorly made per se, but I don't find it interesting. That is the biggest problem. So I'm kind of sitting there like, it's around that 5 level for me because, like, I don't hate it. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's good. I think it could rise to a 6 if it has a solid ending, but I'm afraid, and I think it's just essentially going to end on a 5, which is basically a show with an idea and doesn't really do very much with that idea. It knows what it wants to do, but it's like I said,
so,
ultimately,
so that'd be something.
It could have been like 3 episode OVA, like essentially
Sure.
that just wrapped up the entire political aspect of it. Yes. Yeah.
Well, I think we've kind of exhausted this at this point.
I
That's what
agree.
it feels like.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. So tell us what you think, listeners. Are there any shows you've preferred binge watching over others? Is there something you prefer watching weekly? I'd be curious to get some feedback on that. What our fan base listens to, how they watch anime. Actually, before we move on, I want to know what your video game playstyles are like. When I was younger, I found that I would play an entire game in a single sitting, or I'd play for hours on end. Now that I'm older, I like only playing in, like, let's say chapter chunks or section chunks, kind of like an arc in a video game that has a story or a certain amount of levels, as opposed to what I used to do. Are you guys seeing anything like that? I know you, Joe, and Tori aren't as into video games as I am.
That is an understatement.
Yeah, well, I put in 36 or 37 hours, I believe, into Nier Automata. I got every ending, and I did that in, I don't know, 2 weeks.
Okay.
Basically, what I do is I play until I'm bored. It's the same thing I do with anime.
So each session you would sit down and play a game, you just play until you're bored?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just played until I wasn't interested anymore, or I got hungry, which is more likely.
So it's very similar to your anime consumption.
Basically, I kept playing until I got hungry, and then I never came back.
Okay.
Or I would get hungry, find a save point, stop, leave and eat, come back, and I would just never start again until the next day.
Yeah. I am terrible with that. Like, because, like I've said, I mean, I still haven't finished it, by the way. I'm playing Persona 5. And I've sunk 80 plus hours into that game. So I've spent a lot of time on that. That is still not completed because that is a 100-hour game. And I have kind of reached this point where I enjoy the game, and I kind of hate myself for this because it's a fun game and I want to end it. But I'm such a terrible video game player that I kind of just put it down. Like, I've had trouble finding time to play video games. It ended up me playing like 2 hours a week, which is nothing. And essentially, I've kind of once again hit this wall where I haven't touched it for like 3 weeks in a row now. And I'm kind of sitting there as I need to pick it back up and play it and finish the game because it's fun. I still have to beat the boss of the dungeon I'm on right now, which I literally just have to go in and do, but I don't do it. So I'm kind of, like I said, I'm a bad video gamer basically. Like I don't play games. I used to be very much into video games, and I could sink hours upon hours upon hours into the game. So like my day would consist of me playing video games, and I feel like it's probably that burnout from doing that, because now I feel like I
Sure.
put 2-3 hours into a game, and then I say to myself, this is fun. I need to do that again. And then I watch anime and watch football and go to school and do whatever I have to do and don't touch it again. And I'm like, all right, that thing. Hey,
Well,
it's been probably over a year, probably closer. No, it's been over 2 years. I still haven't finished Danganronpa. And I keep thinking that every once in a while, like, I'm still like like not even halfway through. I'm still in the beginning of like the game 1. I should go back. I should play that game again.
I started playing Danganronpa off of one of our users, Skeith's recommendation. I put a bit into it. What is it, number 1? I put 5 hours into it.
that's fine.
I don't like it, so I stopped
You
playing
don't?
it. I don't like it at all.
So I
find it very interesting,
Mhm.
but I think the gameplay is terrible. The gameplay is horrible and the story is interesting.
I mean, that's a fair assessment. So I have this rule where if I get a game, because I have a lot, you're gonna see that when I move here to Rhode Island. We're gonna hang out and play some games. When I get a brand new game, I play it for 2 hours minimum. That is my personal rule, even if I don't like it, because then at that point I feel like I didn't waste my money, and I have a good idea of what the game is. For video games, I don't, especially with modern gaming, I don't feel inclined to beat a game. It's not a necessity.
Mhm.
If I put in, I think it was 10 hours, going back to Tales of Zestiria from earlier, I put in about 10 hours in that game. I didn't feel a need to finish it. I wasn't too into it. Did I enjoy those 10 hours? Yeah, sure. I didn't feel like I wasted my time. But as you said in your experience with Danganronpa, you didn't like the gameplay. You know, after a while, you just develop the. You don't develop the need to continue on.
Yeah. That's a pretty apt way to put it, because again, I find the story very interesting. I like the setup.
Yeah.
I like a lot, but it's not even visual novel style gameplay, because visual novel style gameplay would be, well, text box appears and you read it, and oh, interesting, and then you click an option and you read it, and
Yeah, except Steingate.
You
no option
kind
to
of do
click.
that in Danganronpa as well as a lot. But yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from, especially with Danganronpa, because there's a lot of just kind of walking around trying to look at clues, read stuff, react to what people are saying, and then ultimately it all kind of just boils up. Everything kind of just boils up until something happens, investigation happens, and then eventually trial happens. And
well,
then
one of my
you sit
biggest
there
problems
and
is I got through
spend-
the first trial, but I felt like
Same.
I was answering correctly,
Mhm.
but it wasn't exactly it wasn't the exact reaction the game was looking for, so it was incorrect.
And that is the problem, right? Because they tell
Interesting.
you that in the tutorial as well. They will try to throw you off by having like incorrect statements that are, clearly lies, however unrelated to the actual investigation. And that is like, things I feel the game will throw in there to make it harder, but it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. It makes sense that people will try to lie, essentially, when you're being accused of murder,
Yeah.
If you don't actually have a solid,
Well, for instance, when I was playing in one of those trials, you had two answers that were essentially the same answer. It was she was stabbed with a knife in my bathroom, that my door doesn't work, or but my door doesn't work and she was stabbed.
Yeah.
Like, they're the same answer.
I
Essentially,
wonder.
yes.
So in cases like that, because Danganronpa is a Japanese game,
Yes.
Yeah.
that is a translation issue.
It very
Probably.
probably is, because
Clear-
Japanese is very,
Particular, I've come across this in German, translating to English.
Mhm.
Certain phrases, even though they're very similar, and we have it in English too. Certain inflections on words, when people speak, the way a sentence is structured, is meant to mean two things, even though it is the same thing.
yeah. Well, like,
So
I can definitely see that, because it could have meant, like, she was stabbed in my bathroom, but clearly I wasn't in there because I was in her room.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas they just wrote, she was stabbed in my bathroom, my door doesn't work, and that's how they translated it. And then the other answer could have been something like, no, because they broke that door.
Right.
Because my door.
It sounds like
is a man's room.
It sounds like the two options was just giving you more information to go on.
Yeah.
As opposed to minimal information to kind of save yourself. Anyways.
Yeah.
But it's stuff like that. It seems common.
Yeah.
And
well, that's a Japanese gaming thing. Japanese translation gaming issue that's very common, especially in RPGs.
Especially in Persona. Especially Persona 5. God.
I can't hear Tori anymore. Oh no.
I'm not even talking anymore. Hello?
Okay. Well, that does explain that.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we've crushed these questions. We did it.
We did it.
I don't know if we actually answered the last one, but we did it.
We didn't, but fuck it.
Yeah.
It's Semi. He'll ask us if he's not satisfied with our answer.
Is it time to move on to the most important series ever, Mobile Suit Gundam?
We're not doing Ava till next cast.
Oh.
Ha! Ha ha! 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 Ha.
Oh, was that right?
Yes, it is actually. We are doing Ava next cast.
So, Mobile Suit Gundam. So, I have
2
a
pages.
notebook here with many a notes because I wanted to do this right. Tori doesn't like Gundam or Mecha.
I don't.
Or good things.
We're good,
I
we're
do.
good things.
No, clearly not.
He's also been sick. Totally
I
not
have.
from watching the Gundam
Have
movies.
been. I still technically am.
I still have been.
He's recovering.
Yeah. I mean, for fuck's sake, a couple hours before I had to take like painkillers a couple hours before coming on here. This is gonna be fun.
So what I've done is I've broken this up into the 3 movies. Okay.
Okie doke.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
Movies
Like
came
what
out in
happened.
1981, shortly after the original series ended, which started in 1979. It was directed and originally created by Tomino, famous guy,
Might have heard of him.
maybe.
Never. What do you do? What do you ever do?
Gundam.
Lots and lots of Gundam. So what has happened here is the original series was spanned 50 episodes, had a crazy amount of detail in the universe, went into a lot of the crew of this battleship White Base, and was able to get the viewer to really understand what their mentality was during this massive war that has broken out. So kind of playing off that, what has happened is humans have immigrated into space, made these massive space stations called sides. And they're across the universe, not as far as you think, because there's no, let's say, instantaneous space travel. Going towards what Macross does, they can't fold into different space-time areas to go quicker. So time in space goes a lot slower. I'd like to compare it to getting on an airplane and going somewhere. It's very much like that. So what's happened is these sides have gone out into space, and over time, what they do, each side has their own little job to play towards humanity, and especially Earth. And Earth still wants to control them. They want to control the resources that they make out there. They want to control the people, and it's run by the organization nicknamed the Fedis, the Earth Federation. And after a certain amount of time, and certain generations have passed, the one farthest from Earth has now. They want their own independence, and it's run by, and they become run by the Zabi family. And a war breaks out over this independence. The Zabis make this group called Zeon, and Earth fights them.
Sig Zeon!
And if I'm not mistaken, the side is side 3. That's where they come from. So this initial war breaks out. Half the population of Xeon and half of the Earth's population die. So that gives you a sense of there's a definite soldier need immediately. So now it's 8 months has passed, and this is where it starts. And it starts off in one of the sides, side 7. We meet Amuro Ray, our main character. And he talks, it kind of establishes that he's a machine nut.
You leave that boy alone.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Fuck yourself.
No.
So during this,
I guess that makes sense.
So side 7's kind of this neutral place. It's not in the war.
It's like the DMZ.
Let's call him Switzerland.
Let's call them the demilitarized zone. Let's just say they're the spot right between North and South Korea.
Yeah. And they're not the only ones. There's I believe there's another side or two that's trying to stay out. There's even places on Earth that are trying to remain neutral. What's happened is the Fetties are developing a new crazy spaceship and a new crazy mechanized mobile suit. And the wars are fought with people in these massive armors that look like humans.
Now are they Gorndorms?
So they're not Gundams, because that's kind of the Gundam itself is a leap in technology. It's because Xeon being in space, they have a higher technology, lower population. So that's the advantage and disadvantage. While the Fetties have the higher population, a lesser technology. So the Fetties want to kind of catch up and take over the tide of war with this better technology. And this technology is the White Base, which is the ship, and the Gundam itself, which is the RX-78, as it's called.
-2.
-2. And it's being made at Size 7 with crazy scientist people. And one of them is Amuro's dad. So this is how Amuro kind of understands this certain technology that's being developed, because I guess his dad talks a lot about it, or
Because he's like a new type or something.
He just leaves that. Well, we'll get to that.
Too early, man.
So-
too early.
It's never too early.
Yeah.
No,
So
actually.
Xeon sneaks into Side 7, and they want to cause some shit. They want their job is to take pictures and do recon.
They're big
And this
bullies.
infiltration unit of Xeon is run by a guy named Shar Aznable. And he
He's pretty
becomes our main. Besides the Zabi family and Xeon, Shar is let's call it the third party antagonist. Shall we?
Sure.
So he's running this. Amuro, Xeon gets caught being outside. So then Side 7, the people in Side 7 are told to go into the bomb shelters. Amuro's like, screw that. I don't want to be here anymore. He leaves the shelter because he's like, I gotta find Dad. So things we've learned is the sense of scale is immediate.
Mm-hmm.
These ships, the Gundams, they're massive. The size of the universe is established as it takes a while to get places.
It's a universe.
It's a universe. And Amuro, as smart as he is, he makes dumb decisions.
Yeah.
Immediately.
He's a child.
And it's not just him. It's also everyone else. It's a show where
Especially
characters
him.
make dumb decisions.
And especially
It's almost like they're under incredible stress because of a war or something.
Yeah.
Nah, never.
Oh yeah, totally. Forever.
Shinji getting the mech.
So one of the
Shinji got in
pilot,
the
yeah.
neck.
So the first movie, the whole movie is establishing things like this, and the characters, and the battle of Fetties versus Xeon. This is where most of my notes are. It's just from this first movie, because a lot of setup, and that's what the first, I want to say, 12 to 20 episodes of Gundam is. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Establishes lots of people die easily in mass numbers, such as the Xeon pilot breaking orders and just going, I'm going to fucking kill everybody. And that's how it starts. So all the engineers and pilots at the base are dead.
Mm-hmm.
This is why Amuro then goes, I'm going to get in the mobile suit. because he just happened to find, coincidentally, the instructions on how to pilot it. But they do something well enough where when he gets into it, he kind of says, wow, this is a crazy amount of technology in here. It's so much different than, say, the regular tanks that the Fetties use and have. This is still episode 1. This is still the opening episode and movie 1 itself. What do you guys think of the setup and the introduction and everything? Since I've been rambling over and setting everything up.
Well, I thought it was a nice refresher. I've already seen the series. I watched the episodes. So, I mean, I knew what was happening, and that was kind of the point. It was kind of just basically, oh, okay, cool. There's Amuro, and there's Fra. Yep, she still exists. Awesome. Okay.
So Fra Bao is kind of the established motherly figure in the show, and also
this mother's a
Amuro's
piece of shit.
and also, well, we'll get there. And Amuro's childhood friend. That's where she kind of comes in.
Yeah.
Which means she can't possibly win.
Yep.
Childhood friends don't win. Ask JD. He has one.
Yep.
Well, we never were a thing.
I know.
Yeah, no.
Because she's
For
your
me-
childhood friend.
For me, the first movie was like, unlike Joe, I've never seen the original Mobile Suit Gundam. It's one of those things where it's like it's been on my plan to watch list for a while, and it was
Well, now you
something
don't
that
need to watch
whenever I decided to actually get into Gundam, I wanted to check it out, but I never, and I checked out other Gundam series instead, and better series than this, and I kind of went into this movie blind, and all I pretty much got out of the first movie was Armor's a piece of shit. I don't understand. I mean, I understand, but like when I'm sitting there thinking like, so Shinji is the poster boy for a whiny main character, and it's like, God, Armor's like 10 times worse.
Well, funny enough. Amuro as a character, I said earlier that the Mobile Suit Gundam series is more the white base crew. Each character kind of gets their moment to shine. The movie,
Sure.
especially this first one, is all about Amuro and his character, and yet there is a lot that is brushed over because you have less time to develop the character. So there's a lot. I found that there was a significantly less moments of Amuro being a whiny child. It did happen, but it wasn't as bad as the TV show did because there was less time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was still bad. Very bad.
What is interesting is this is where we also get where Amuro is established to have quick wits, quick reaction speeds, much better than the average pilot even though he has no combat experience. But he is still 16?
Yep.
16.
Pretty sure.
He's in prime angsty teenager age.
I was not
He
that
doesn't know war. But he knows machines.
Yeah, and
So
that is one thing. That is one thing that I have to applaud the movie for as much as I didn't like it. I really appreciated when they put him in the mech and kind of even everybody else that eventually have to, get on board the white base and kind of pilot this thing and fight this war. They are all complete rookies as far as I understood. And I really appreciate that feeling of how it's as frustrating as it can be to watch at times, it's like it makes sense. They're not born and bred killing machines. People don't go out you're not just recruited off the street and you go out there like guns blazing, like I'm gonna murder everyone.
Well, there's
there's
a moment during the movie and the TV show that because it established all the engineers and pilots and soldiers are dead, Side 7 has to evacuate the population.
Well, you see, on what Tori was talking about, how you can't just hop into a Gundam and be some kind of god.
Right.
That's actually one of the problems I had with Iron-Blooded Orphans.
Oh yeah, they were all
Oh,
like that.
Yeah, well, it's because they have that Alice Vania system, something like that.
Yeah,
it
I
automatically
understand.
gave them reaction speed
Yeah.
increases and
That cheapens the fights.
yeah.
I understand. I had my issues with this movie in the sense that Amuro had a manual, because
You
it
could have
kind
just
of
given the manual to anybody.
exactly. And that was my problem when they were, they had this moment where no, you're the only one who can pilot this robot, and I'm kind of sitting just like, he has the fucking manual. Just read the goddamn manual. Luckily, and I'm kind of luckily, I just to not to spoil anything, but they do actually tackle that eventually, which made me very happy because I told JD when I was watching movie one, when I finished watching movie one, I said, if they keep doing this in movie two, I'm gonna flip shit. They didn't.
And it's funny, in the TV show, they do establish that there's a reason why he's the only one that could pilot it. Manual, with the manual or not. And as you said, Tori, they do tackle it in movie 2. So I'm wondering why the choice... Because what the movies do is they like skipping moments using text to explain things going on. So I'm wondering why there wasn't like a small text conversation between, say, Bright Noah, who ended up being the captain of the White Base ship, with, say, another person on the ship. Like, why does Armoro, why is he the only one that can possibly pilot this? Because there is a moment where Armoro gets depressed. He's like, I don't want to pilot this thing anymore. Why don't you do it? And Bright's like, well, what if I could?
Mm-hmm.
They could have elaborated on that. Like,
Yeah.
Why can't he do it? And they just never did. The TV show, I vaguely remember they did go into that detail.
See, the thing is, there's an easy answer. You have to pilot it because you're the only one who knows how to pilot it right now. I can learn,
Right now,
but
yes.
you're the only competent one.
But they never said
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but I mean...
They kind of hinted at it.
No.
Sort of.
No, but that's the easy answer. Plus, these people are cowards.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. So, there's a lot there. Side 7's evacuating. There's a lot of refugees, regular civilians on the ship now.
Mhm.
And there's only a handful that had any sort of experience. There's Kai, there's Ryu, there's Mirai, Sayla, and those are the main 4.
Yeah.
They have some experience. Ryu, I think, said he had... This is just the beginning. Ryu said he has, like, a week of pilot training. So he's the only one that can pilot the core fighter.
And he's shit at it because he's only had a week to do it.
Right. So he's pretty bad at it. Kai has minimal mobile suit experience. So he's the one that's in charge of the gun cannon. And even he's like, Jesus, I hardly know what I'm doing. Mirai's like, I've piloted like a plane once or twice. Okay, I guess I'm gonna be the one in charge with moving the White Base forward. So Bright Noah, he's just an ensign. He's essentially a rookie himself.
Yeah.
He's put in charge of the White Base. So everyone has their individual tasks that they're kind of forced into
Well, the thing is, like,
that only they can do.
Yeah, and they can't pilot because you can't lose people when you have no one.
Right.
You can't lose people off the deck when you have 9 people on the deck to pilot 400 people along.
Yeah, obviously, and when you see more battleships and everything, you see a lot more people on there. White Base has like 4 people.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy.
Well, I was telling you while we were watching the last movie, like, how many people do you think it would take to run this?
Exactly.
It wouldn't take the 4 that are on the deck. It would take 20 people on the deck and 100 people on staff.
Well, even a character like Fra Bo, you end up seeing her be part of like communications, and she does everything along those lines, but can't keep track of enemies in the field of it. That's why White Base basically gets its ass kicked constantly. They end up pulling... So, they escape Side 7. It's pretty much destroyed. There's a scene where Armoro slices through one of the Xeon Zaku's, which is the common Xeon mobile suit, and it just explodes. Because what are they powered with, Joe?
Nuclear reactors.
Like, don't do that, because it takes half of Side 7 with it.
Yeah.
So he's like, crap. So then he's like, okay, I'm going straight for the pilot. Very brutal, but very thought out.
Yeah.
So they escape, and their goal is to get White Base and the Gundam, this new Leapin Fetty technology, to the main resource asteroid called Luna 2, which is essentially the front lines of the battle. So Char's after him. He
And
wants
it was
to.
a fucking nightmare to even get off the planet.
Yeah. So all these refugees and civilians that are forced on white base, they get to Luna 2, in which the main guy goes, "Fuck off! You're going to Earth. You're the only ones who can do this. We can't spare any soldiers because half the population's gone. They're all spread out to all these different places. You guys got war experience now. Bye bye."
Yep.
They even asked the question, "What are we going to do about all these civilians and refugees?" I don't know. They can't stay here. Take them to Jaburo, which is the main Earth Fetty kind of headquarters.
Yep.
Well, oh shit, and even all the civilians are like, "Crap, great. All we did was run for our lives, and now we got to go through it." So the Fetties obviously don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, they have more pressing matters, like, not losing.
The war, yeah, not losing the war. They can't worry about one ship.
Yep.
But they do at least want them to, since it was already established now, because people like Char Aznable, which is a major Xeon player, and Xeon seem to be focused on white base now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can, and the thought process behind this is, Xeon's going to be distracted trying to get rid of or take this new technology.
Yes.
That's the whole. Do you guys have any issues with the way Gundam has gone so far and their motivations for all this?
No, but there is one thing that I was telling you about.
Okay.
Where one of my favorite parts about Gundam as an overarching series is usually the bad guy, which in this case is Char, isn't wrong. He also isn't really the bad guy.
Well, we don't know that quite yet. We think he is.
Well, the problem being me and you have seen more Gundam.
True. So, Tori, what did you think of Char up until this point? We're about halfway through movie 1, by the way.
Yeah.
At this point.
Well, the problem is, even though I haven't seen a lot of Gundam, I've known about Char for a long time.
Of course. He's
so
very famous.
Well, I mean, there's even the scene in the last movie where he stops and helps Amuro, someone who he knows is an enemy pilot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he still helps him fucking out because he's like, we're not on the war grounds.
Yeah. So
you're just a person.
Yeah. And this happens. Yeah. It's not just Char that does that. It does happen quite often in the series, which I kind of forgot about, honestly. These kind of enemy soldier moments of meeting each other not on the battlefield,
because they're just people and they know it. It's like the American Civil War. It's Americans killing Americans. You're just people killing people. Because ultimately, with the fucking colonies and shit, there's a strong push that everyone's just human now. We need to not die out as a species.
Yeah.
And this fucking war is kind of a problem. Making that, very hard to not die as a fucking species.
Tori?
Yeah?
What are your thoughts?
I don't have any. Basically, no.
Not shocking.
The problem is when it comes to Gundam, first of all, the entire thing is just mushed into my head, and I did not enjoy it. I had so many goddamn issues with the way it was just presenting itself. I don't like the way it feels like you guys have way more experience with this than I do, and you having seen this series and all, you have a lot more gaps to fill in. To me, the movie constantly felt like it was just skipping ahead, leaving out details. I don't understand fuck all of what is going on, so I'm kind of sitting there going, okay, sure, he's piloting, he is the only one who can do this, even though he has a manual, and even though JD pointed out to me, and I had to give it that to him, just because you have the manual, if you had the manual to a plane, does that mean you could fly it? No.
Yes.
But I could with practice, and that's kind of my problem again, because
right. But how much practice would it take?
But there it is, JD. There's my problem again, because like I said, yes, but I could with practice, and the problem then becomes because we didn't see them ever trying to practice this, but what we did get to see was them spending time on the beach, because that is important.
Yeah, it was one moment.
A war zone. It was one moment, but it is an unnecessary moment. Why would they rather show them on the beach than showing them actually practicing in a moment where they have time? But you know what?
Well, they also showed a bunch of soldiers getting trashed, so it was clearly an R&R moment, and they didn't want to fight. So, as weird as the beach scene was, you also did get the scene where guys are just getting drunk, and that is very that was believable.
I feel like it's not a unnecessary scene. It's not that I don't have a problem with them doing that, but it becomes again the problem with these compilation movies for me, not having seen the series. It feels like it skips an important step in order to move on to the next one. Right? So I'm kind of saying there's this gap here for me now, which then again gets emphasized in the next movie when all of a sudden they say, well, Amuro, you're technically not needed anymore because we have figured out how to pilot the Gundam. It's like, okay, thank you.
So, okay. So, I actually thought this first movie was very faithful, and it did have the majority of the info you needed. I thought it presented it quite well compared to the movie 2 and 3, which left a whole hell of a lot. Now, the one thing I couldn't figure out upon completing the first movie was, Tori, as you'd said, they didn't mention anything about anyone else practicing with the other mobile suits or learning other jobs, especially with a smaller crew. That seemed kind of necessary.
Yep.
And I believe in the show they did cover that, so they clearly just skipped over that in the first movie. The other thing is a lack of describing new type. It was completely omitted from the first movie. And I believe also in the TV show they cover new type as this new Zeon's been experimenting with human evolution. It's kind of being this whole belief that this is why the Independence began in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, Jetty, I told you when I was watching the second movie, I basically told, if I hadn't at least seen enough Gundam to have heard the phrase new type being thrown out every once in a while, and of course have Joe explain it to me, that would have been so, I would have been completely lost right then and there at the start of movie 2, because I'd be like, what? Who?
So, yeah, I mean, if you didn't go into this with previous knowledge, moments like that would just completely throw you off. Very clear. And I didn't even like that.
You shouldn't have, because it's not good storytelling.
No, it's bad.
Yeah, but the thing is, this series, these compilations weren't made for you to replace watching the series. They were made so you didn't have to rewatch the series again.
You can cut out or just watch the major battles.
I mean, the thing about these movies is you can literally replace the series with them if you've seen other Gundams, so you can piece those things together. If you've seen, War in the Pocket, Char's Counterattack, something like that, where you can start piecing what new types are together, then you can react to these. But if this is your first Gundam, or if this is your first, UC Major Gundam, you need to watch the series instead of this movie.
I think the first movie, you can skip over those parts of the series. I think you can.
Well, yeah, I mean, anything that's not canon, you skip over. If it gets retconned, if it's unnecessary, if it's just bullshit like the beach episode, which, I mean... Well,
there is a purpose to why they were there.
Yeah, it's because they're children, and if you just work all the time, you're gonna fucking mentally die.
So so we'll get into psychological parts here in a sec. So the White Base is given the task to go to Earth. They go to Earth. Char meets them. They have a battle upon re-entry, and Char's purpose was, okay, if we can't blow them up or destroy them, we're going to redirect them so they can't just go straight to Jabro. He redirects them into Zeon territory on Earth, which is, I guess, Central America.
Mm-hmm.
And because of Zeon territory control, they didn't really go into what territories they actually control. They just say, we're going to have to take the long way around, based on what Zeon does. And the show, this is another case of just omitting that kind of information. It kind of even threw me off because I couldn't quite remember everything. Shocking. This is where then you meet one of the first Zabi sons, and it's Garmin Zabi. So Char then gives control over to Garmin Zabi, Garma Zabi, and this is where Amuro starts getting his first battle of depression, because he's a 16-year-old kid going in war. He's had no problem killing people in the machines, but as soon as he starts seeing the people, that's when he starts realizing he's actually murdering people.
Mhm.
He's in war. It's his first battle of depression. I thought that was handled pretty well. Not enough time to it, if you ask me, but it's the movie.
It's a compilation movie of a 50-episode series.
So there's a dance party. You get to know more about Garma. He's in love. He's gonna get married. He wants to prove himself. He wasn't given he wants to prove that he wasn't given this position of power without some merit. So that's why he's then motivated to go after White Base. And Char's like, yeah, all right, cool. I'm still here. Command me. So there's that. That's the Xeon side. Meanwhile, on the Earth Federation side, Amuro meets Lieutenant Matilda, the hottie patati redhead chick. He develops what you would call a crush.
Adorable.
Oh, so cute. And Matilda, this is the hints. And of course the show goes into so much more detail, but it's down to like singular lines of just Lieutenant Matilda going, "You must be some kind of Esper." You get that, guys? So dumb.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. It's like she's joking.
Oh, she is.
I did like this. And then White Base and Xeon end up having a battle. White Base is kind of hiding out. They're trying to set a trap. Char finds it, and he's like, clever. Kind of throwing us off a trail. Sends out Garma, and totally fucks him over. He tells him the wrong thing, sets him up to get ambushed, and this is our first indication that Char hates the Zabi family. You don't know why, but there's one of my favorite lines is, "Sorry, Gamera, we were good friends. I really liked you. But your last name's Zabi, so middle fingers, you're dead. Ha 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 ha."
Well, it's, there's, in here, there's no explanation to why he hates the Zabi family. But you learn later. I mean, not really. It's all inferred shit later, but...
Sure. Tori, did you like this sequence at all?
Well, yes and no. Because, I don't know. Again, because I've heard of Char before and know at least a little bit about him. Like, I was expecting it. So it's like when it came, I was like, okay, there's the betrayal, and now we go. Mm-hmm. Now we begin.
It begins.
This is when we begin Char's bizarre adventure.
Char's bizarre adventure. No. Upon this moment, it feels like the series. It feels like the series picks up here. However, the movie doesn't end very well.
No.
Because we get to meet Amuro's mom, who's in this like pacifist village. This is where the beach scene happens.
Oh no! Not his mom.
You find out that Amuro and his dad's like, "I'm gonna go develop this new technology in space. Got a kick-ass new job. You coming?" And she goes, "No, I'm gonna stay on Earth. Bye."
She's a pacifist, though, JD. That makes it all okay. Like that scene where she is just like, or again, Amuro ends up having to defend himself, so he ends up killing those two Xeon soldiers that comes to check on them, and he's like, "How could you kill someone?" And Amuro's just like, "Would you rather see them kill me?" And she doesn't even say no. She's just kind of like,
She goes, "No, you should think of him because he has a family."
Yeah.
Yep.
And Amuro has a great response. "Mom, this is war."
Yep.
And then he runs away.
I kind of made the joke as like, I'm glad to see that this kind of retardation isn't just limited to Amuro. I'm glad to see that it's actually running in the family.
It's like, so that's who he gets it from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what throws me off about this whole sequence with his mom is he has this, like, he hasn't seen her at all or heard from her in like a decade.
Doesn't even know she's alive.
There's a whole scene where they tell Amuro that, "Oh, your mom's like over there," and he goes, "Oh my God, she's alive." It's like, okay, I get his reaction, but it's like us, the viewer, I'm going,
Fuck
Wait,
that bitch.
she's been alive this whole time?
Yeah.
Well, fuck her. It's so bad.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
Parents, am I right?
Yeah, parents, am I right? Well, he leaves, and the mom has just the most bizarre lines. Things I didn't remember in the TV show because it's so bad. I totally threw it out of my memory.
Well, it's kind of like she's fucking on drugs. Like, she's saying some really dumb shit just constantly.
It's because he was raised by his father only, and the mother wasn't there. That's why he turned out to be this. She ends up saying basically like she hates him because of what he's become a soldier and kills people now.
He's a monster. I didn't raise him to be like this. Bitch, you didn't raise him at all.
She has that line. I didn't raise him like this. Remember when I raised you for those first 8 years of your life? Oh, you mean the ones where I only remember like maybe 2 years of it? Yeah, sure. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's she's awful.
She's, in my opinion, the worst character in the entire show and movies.
Yeah. Well,
One of the worst moms ever.
It's
oh
like,
yeah.
It's literally like she's because this is what 79. This came out.
Yeah.
The show, yes.
Yeah. So that's like, is that when cults started to be a thing? Because this does seem like she hit a cult, and she's
It did feel like a cult, yeah.
and she's just like taking drugs somewhere in fucking Oregon.
And totally naive to what's going on in the rest of the universe because it's
Yeah.
not just the Earth; it's everything.
It's like, what was it? It's the Golden Gate.
Yeah, where they thought the spaceship was going to come down during the eclipse and take them all away.
Yeah.
And yeah,
They all drank the Kool-Aid.
They all drank the Kool-Aid and died. And,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're exactly right. It felt like she was part of this pacifist cult.
Because she's so incredibly ignorant, and like her husband, Amuro's father, is a fucking scientist.
It's like, I got a kick-ass new job. You coming? No.
Yeah, like you fucking can't.
And he just pieces out. He's like, I'm taking the kid with me. So there must have been something going on there.
Yeah, there had to have been.
Had to have been. So then it cuts to a big funeral. Again, a lot of information in this first movie.
Yeah.
It cuts to the funeral of Garma Zabi, and Zeon's now using this as a way to basically become a dictatorship in full power, using his death as a way to motivate the troops. Totally not like Hitler or Stalin or anybody, you know.
Totally
not. Non-relatable.
Don't know what you're talking about.
And you see Bright seeing this broadcast, just being like, "That is a dictatorship." How do the people not see this? But they're so inclined to this idea of people in space are space-noids are better than people from Earth. That's where this is the point where I feel where Gundam starts taking it up a notch.
Yeah.
It stops.
Race. Heil Hitler.
Sieg Zeon, literally.
You hear it all. That's when
they even mention Hitler in the movie.
Yeah, they throw
literally.
out like this is part of Earth's like dark past. So then which big dude, Big Zabi, like the oldest
Big Zam?
male.
Oh no.
What's
not
his
Big
name?
Zam.
It's the guy who ends up piloting
Big
Big Zam, which we'll talk about later.
Big Zam.
Anyways, he's in charge of a lot of section of Zeon control, and he sends essentially a revenge squad with kind of these new Zakus down to Earth, or are they already on Earth? I think they're already on Earth. He sends this squad run by Ramba Ral to go after White Base now. So Char's now out of the picture. And and that's where the movie ends. And Amuro, they briefly go, Amuro's not depressed anymore, but he does have what they called recruit burnout, where he's just fucking in a daze.
Now, what was Char doing at this time?
So after what happened with Garma,
Is this 0079? Is this War in the Pocket time?
no, War in the Pockets
0079.
in
No, it's not
October
double
of the war, I believe.
Because Char was doing something specifically that's taking place in another movie right now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's either because Char's counterattack is after.
It's after the war's over.
Yes.
Because there's 8th MS team happening, and in I believe December of the war, and War in the Pocket's happening in October during the war. I think that, but this particular moment I think takes place in summer.
Okay.
So we're you know what, we're gonna, Char's not in the picture anymore. He's doing something else, and that's how movie 1 ends. And now we're gonna pick it up. The pace picks up heavy going into the second 2 movies.
Now the fighting begins.
I gave movie 1 an 8 out of 10. I was very lenient with it. I thought it conveyed all the information you needed well enough. It could have been better.
I gave it a 6.
A 6?
I also
The
gave it a
movie
6.
1?
Yep. I absolutely cannot recommend it, and my recommendation line starts at 7. I would recommend the series, or watching The Origin.
Well, the series is inherent. I do give the series a higher rating. Hence why this is low. I gave the series 9 out of 10. I think it's very good. A lot of information's passed. I think the movie still has all the information you need. But there is that sense.
But you need information going in.
You need information going in,
And
and
I
that's
can't
where the first
recommend
movie
it.
goes down.
I can't recommend it like generally to everybody. Like I can recommend 8th MS to everybody, regardless of what you know about Gundam.
Sure.
Because 8th MS is pretty cut, dry, closed. You don't need to know everything about Amuro Ray and Char and.
So we're all in that 6-7 range.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's Gundam, but you still need some information going in.
It's one of the lesser Gundams. Sorry, it's also made in 79, not 98.
Well, the first movie was made in 81.
Yeah, but
so it
it's
does
based
look
off-
a lot better. That's for sure. You
Based
put
on
that out
content
there.
from 79. So.
Yeah. Tori, opinion.
No, like I said, I gave the first movie a 6. I didn't like it. I thought it was like there were certain things in the movie that I did like, and I was impressed by how it handled itself. But ultimately, I felt like there were just too many instances of I don't get it. Like I get it. There's war. I understand that, and these are hard times. But ultimately, like I don't get, like, to put it best, I don't get the fascination, right?
Okay.
I don't get there where people sit there and go, oh, the politics are so strong and everything is so fucking fantastic and the portrayal of war is so real, and I'm just sitting there like, In certain instances, yes. Most of the time, though, it feels like taking select pieces of information out of an archive. Like it's like, okay, this is a big event that happened. This is a big event that happened. Like kind of like that, and then it's like the details in between. They're like, nobody cares about that. That's irrelevant.
Well, then moving on to movie 2, it's called Soldiers of Sorrow. This takes place primarily on Earth. So we have it goes right into Romberall's unit chasing White Base. It mentioned now this is when it just goes. It mentions it finally starts going into Zeon researching espers, and they call them new types, which is the next step in human evolution. Then they start having conversations, whether it's among Zeon soldiers or Char or something as simple as Mirai and Bright kind of communicating with each other, or Lieutenant Matilda, what they are. And they're just like, well, I guess it's people that have developed a high sense of intuition. They're not even totally sure what it is. We do end up finding out that based on the White Base's somehow survival, that now people at Jaburo want to research the White Base itself as a haven for new types, and just basically they have been given the task of being guinea pigs. Specifically, Amuro, because he pilots the Gundam.
Yep.
Because there's a battle in the first movie where it has text where it's like, during this battle, Amuro reached a new level of skill, and he kills 13 people in that battle by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that data comes from, including another member of White Base, Sayla. What's her last name? Sayla Loon?
Oh my god, Sailor Moon would be hilarious.
Oh, Sailor something.
What the hell?
Anyways.
It's Sailor
Anyways.
Mass, actually.
Sailor Mass, there we go.
Sailor Mars, right?
Sailor Mars. Sailor Mass. There's some cool battles going up. Rombaral's after him. The pace is incredibly high. You see a scene where Sayla pilots the Gundam periodically, and there's just a simple line where she goes, I spent so much time in the simulator, why is the Gundam so different? She can't handle the G-forces well. She has no experience actually in the Gundam. She's just been doing simulators.
Yes.
And you also see that other pilots now have been doing the same things, but it's all through just simple singular lines, so you really have to pay attention to it. I don't particularly like how that was done.
Me
That it
neither.
was
Like I said,
cheapening.
I appreciated that because this was my exact issue from movie 1. So I appreciate that they did what I said, and that they actually kind of start working towards taking the power away from Amuro being the only one who can pilot the Gundam, because like I said, I understand him being the best, and I understand relying on him to pilot the Gundam. But on the other hand, if something does happen to him, which he is prone to, he's prone to being able to just decide to run away, for example, just like somebody else. Right. So it's like, or even just if he's killed, right? Then what? Like, fine, it's good to have a plan A. You need to start with a plan A, but what exactly is the plan B here?
Yeah.
Right. You also need a plan B in case stuff does not go to plan, because guess what? 90% of the time, especially in war, stuff never goes according to plan.
Yeah. So, because they went over such a large amount of information in that first movie, the second movie focuses on kind of relationships building, in between battle after battle. So you have Rombaral's battle and Operation Odessa, which is Rombaral going after the white base. You have...
Fuck.
What's up?
The number's 2.8 billion.
Yes.
Humans dead.
Yeah. The show definitely goes into more detail on like how many people have died in each battle, how many people live in the colonies that got destroyed. You get a better sense of time, essentially. While these movies, you have once the first movie is over, you have no sense of time. It's just
events
that keep happening, and it just keeps skipping at a rapid rate. And it's very hard to keep track of what's important.
It's like watching Saving Private Ryan, but just mashing on the skip button.
All right, next chapter.
And watching for 10 minutes, and then skip, and then watch for 10 minutes, and just keep doing it.
Yeah. So after these battles, and you start seeing Amuro kind of getting more 16-year-old feelings. So Bright and Mirai are talking about taking Amuro out of the Gundam, because they're afraid he's going to develop a personality of him being better than everyone else, getting more conceited. And, of course, Amuro only hears half of it, and he's like, oh, you guys want to take me out of the Gundam? I'm going to run away with the Gundam.
Well, that was related to... wasn't that related to him being a new type as well?
Well, he didn't hear that
they
part.
Were afraid of him.
He didn't hear that part.
No, he did hear that part. As far as I understand, he did.
No, he only heard where Bright goes, I don't want him to develop a conceited personality. That's all he hears.
That is weird. That is weird because they walked out right where he was when they were and standing there talking about new types, so he should have been able to hear that.
Well, that was that first half of the conversation. He only hears that second half, which is why he gets so pissy.
But he is there the entire time when they're talking about it, so he should have heard the first part of it.
He should have,
my
but
point.
That's not what happened. He only
seemed to me like he did hear that part as well.
No,
and
that
was also one of the reasons. Because they were talking... Remember, the first thing they were talking about was, like... They were talking... Him being a new type. They were talking about not being able to trust him because he is a new type. New typers are untrustworthy.
Well, he only heard half the conversation because...
I know he doesn't hear everything.
He says the line, I'm not important anymore. You don't need me anymore. Hence, he only heard the second half. Of course, he
I do not
overreacts like a
remember
small
that.
child, and
Because
I
he's a
do
small
not
fucking
remember that,
child.
okay.
because he is a 16-year-old. Yeah, that's what he says. He goes, "You don't need me anymore," and that's why he bounces.
Which seems like
With-
a really dumb idea.
Which is a really dumb idea, because now you're taking the main defense of White Base away.
Yeah.
So he goes to this. They're in this desert
Oh,
area.
and by the way, you've been massacring the enemy opposition in this thing,
Yeah.
and now they see you, and there ain't dick to back you up.
So Fra Bao goes chasing off after him because they're just like, yeah, go after him. You're his friend. Talk some fucking sense into him,
Mhm.
right? Bring him back, and the Gundam, please. At least the Gundam.
At least just the Gundam.
So Armrose goes into this small pub in the desert, and of course Rambaral and his crew also show up at this pub, and this is his first experience with an enemy, face to face. He grows respect for Rambaral and his wife, and a lot of the soldiers. Rambaral has a lot of respect for Amuro because he doesn't know he's the soldier, but he knows he's a kid who can take care of himself.
Yes.
Because he's like, he pulls up his shirt, Armor's holding a gun, he's like, I like you more and more, boy.
I will kill you right here. I've done it before.
Yeah. And so then, after that confrontation, Rambaral begins Operation Odessa, of attacking the White Base. It's a whole operation dedicated to kicking the shit out of White Base and having Zeon, because once the White Base crosses this certain path, Zeon will have a much harder time getting to him because they're going to be in more Fedi territory and they can protect the White Base from there. So it's a last-ditch effort to destroy the Gundam and White Base until they get to Jaburo. So, battle ensues with Rambaral. Amuro has a second train of thought where he goes, oh, I should probably go back and save the crew. They're going to die without me. Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
So he gets back, kicks some ass. Rambaral has an epic scene where he tries to invade White Base. There's like all 5 people with guns in front of him. He's like, shit. And he jumps off the side, grenade in hand, blows himself up.
This is what it means to fight a war.
This is what it means to fight a war.
Bam!
Armuro sees this in front of him, and he's like, Rambaral's dead. I really like that guy.
I love how he tries to catch him as well and just blows up.
Yeah. And the wife is like, I like you, boy. I wish we could have, hung out and be friends more. But I'm gonna get revenge on my husband. A scene happens where Ryu, one of the more experienced pilots, and he's banged up. He gets in the core fighter, sacrifices himself by running into Rambaral's wife. So they're both dead. Because it was kind of a suicide kamikaze attack that she was doing.
Yeah.
To try and destroy White Base. And that's when there's this first moment of dee-dee-dee, that little sound of Armuro's little new type ability coming. And he hears a voice that goes, oh, it'll be okay. He's like, he looks around, Ryu immediately hits. It's like, oh shit. So they survive somehow. And it skips to getting to Belfast Port. And then this is where the series starts going downhill hard for me. And I'm a fan.
Well, you also skipped the part where Matilda died.
Lieutenant Matilda dies, but it's not as epic as the TV show. It just kind of happens.
No, it's not epic, but one of the only hot people there died. That's sad.
Yeah. So Amuro has regret that he could have been a better if he was a better pilot, he could have saved her. It basically doesn't happen in the movie.
Yeah.
It's just like she dies. End of story.
Yep. She is not alive. And the end. And that's kind of it.
Moving on.
Yeah, this movie's
it does very little.
Yeah.
And without Char, like Rambaral's a cool guy. I really like the arc. In this movie, it didn't feel as important. The whole Lieutenant Matilda's death felt unimportant.
Well, I feel like Char is the actual protagonist.
Yeah.
Just in the sense that he is the one progressing the story at all times. Whereas Amuro Ray is actively the antagonist. He is trying to stop the progression of Zeon. He's not trying to defeat Zeon, he's just trying to make it so, they don't overrun white base and kill everyone he knows.
Yeah. So, skipping ahead, moving on, as Tori wants probably this to end quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're almost at 3 hours, so we're doing good.
Well, I mean, I'm big into Gundam. I took a lot of notes because I'm really into it. I'm trying to break the movie down for it to make sense, especially for Tori, who hasn't seen the show. Belfast Port, you get the return of Char, so there's that.
Yes.
He's like, fuck yeah, how lucky am I? I get to try and take out what he calls the Trojan horse. Because they don't actually know the name White Base. Makes sense. I like that little tidbit. For some reason, we're now focusing on other characters now.
Yeah.
Surprise, motherfucker!
We get intro of new mobile suits, the GOGs. The Googs. which are underwater mobile suits. Kai, it's like, now we're gonna focus on him. Okay, cool. I guess he goes out. He ditches White Base. He goes out, meets this random girl. She turns out to be a spy. Good for her, I guess. Kai's like, okay, cool. You know, he's giving away secrets. He doesn't give a shit anymore. He's kind of never has.
He's always been an asshole.
Yeah. She sneaks on White Base. Kai's like, I'll hide you. I know you're a spy. Whatever.
Yeah.
She starts feeling bad because she's a civilian, that she basically has doomed White Base to die. She goes, fights out with Kai. No military experience. She fires a missile.
Falls in the water.
Propulsion of the missile probably essentially burns her alive, and then she falls in the ocean. Kai's sad. Woohoo. That is what happens at Belfast.
That face when he returns and he realizes she's no longer there.
Yeah. And you see no repercussions happen to Kai because he let a stowaway come on board.
Yep. Who cares?
And then it cuts to them arriving at Jaburo.
Can I just also mention something, though? Because
Sure.
when they were fighting, there, you know, you were talking about the underwater mechs and whatnot.
Yeah.
The underwater Gundams. Didn't they quickly mention like, what are they, mobile armors as well? Pretty sure they were talking about mobile armors at that point. I still don't remember there actually being a mobile armor, or if what the thing that were firing at them was supposed to be the mobile armor. I just remember them saying we're sending out the mobile armor. They did mention something about a mobile armor. If that was what they were sending out, or they were just talking about mobile armor, I don't know.
So mobile armors are defined as not mobile suits.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So like
mobile armor.
So like the balls in space.
Yeah.
Or just the ships with massive guns.
Okay, no, because I thought he was referring to I thought you were referring to, you know, that bird-like thing that was in IBO.
Yeah,
Those
that was kind of what I was.
Those don't exist in the UC.
Yeah, you're thinking of the
yeah, because that was what had me confused, right?
Non-piloted.
Yes.
Mechs.
Yeah, no, but that was what had me confused, because that is what I've heard, right? So when I'm watching, sitting there watching, hearing them talking about, you know, the mobile armor, I immediately go, what? Wait.
Yeah, those are large machines that aren't the mobile suits. So the non-humanized ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware, but that was why I was like, wait, are they sending out a mobile armor? What? This doesn't add up for me. Something is wrong here. So that part had me thoroughly confused.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't catch that. That's a little tidbit that you'd probably only know if you saw the TV show then.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, it's just, you know, it's more problems in movie too. So we get another skip where White Base is arriving in Jaburo. Char's been following him the whole time. He's like, okay, we're gonna fucking find Jaburo. Here we go. White Base gets there. They're all handed new orders, which does nothing.
Changes the next day, because orders always change.
So, as far as I'm concerned, the civilians were still on the ship. We never see him again after Luna 2. That's when I finally realized, what happened to the civilians? Did they just dump them somewhere?
Yes. They might as well. They should have also dumped those kids.
Did they wind up turning most of them into soldiers?
Yes. They just said, you're all... Yeah, Jaburo just goes, you're all soldiers now for the Fetties.
Yeah.
You're going to stay in White Base. You don't have a choice. And Armo kind of has a moment where it makes sense, because he's still a civilian, technically, where they just kind of give out promotional ranks to the people who died, even though they weren't soldiers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, you're now you go up 3 ranks, and Armuro's like, that's it? What are you gonna do for their family? Like, oh, okay. What does he care? He gets 3 ranks. He's dead.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, because that is one thing that I've always seen as kind of weird. I understand, like, they're technically military, died, or even if they're not, but they would be considered it. They died in war and whatnot, and they want to quote unquote honor the dead. But it's like, I understand the reaction of like a civilian or somebody who's not technically not in the military. Of him can't just, oh, my friend sacrificed his life for this and all he gets is 3 rank promotion, right? It's like, and the fuck is he supposed to do with that? He's dead.
So while all this is going on, Char's infiltrating Jaburo to try and blow it up, and the mass production of the a lighter version of the RX-78-2. -2. And then Armuro and the crew are just having their own little kind of conflicts going on, but in the movie they don't go really into it at all. The new orders for White Base is to go to Solomon, which is Zeon's version of Luna 2, the resource satellite. They're supposed to go there in this very roundabout way to distract Zeon from attacking anything else. Because while this is going on, we learn that Jaburo has been developing new technologies, and Armuro notices it right away. He does mention it that Jaburo's using us as a distraction to Zeon, because they're just doing their own thing. So now with this new order to Solomon, they're just going to continue that trend of, we're developing new technology to fight Zeon, you're the distraction, you're expendable.
Yes.
And we get to use you as guinea pigs, you and Sayla, because Sayla can't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Bright can't go anywhere. Armuro can't go anywhere. They're stuck. They vastly disagree. And this is when some turmoil starts happening among the crew. They start having more individualistic thoughts. Frabo stays. She becomes a soldier. Like you said, most of the crew end up turned into just permanent soldiers on White Base, and they can't do anything about it. There's even a scene with the main heads of Jaburo and the Earth Fetties. They go, White Base is a problem. They don't like what it represents. They don't like much of anything. So you notice that you learn that the Fetties are now officially dicks.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't care anymore. You also learn that Sayla and Char are siblings at one point in this movie. And they have a face-to-face in Jaburo. Kind of emotional, but eh.
Did you learn that in movie 1 or movie 2?
Movie 2.
That did happen first in movie 2, okay.
Yeah. But it's this moment in Jaburo where finally Sayla and Char...
No, but wait, because this is not the first time. No. You do learn it in movie 1, or rather,
no.
The suggestion is thrown out in movie 1, because when they are escaping the
Side 7.
Side 7, yes.
Yeah, they kind of see each other,
and he takes off his masks, and she calls him Nissan. Not sure if she actually says his name, but she did call him Nissan. So it's like the suggestion is thrown out there in movie 1, and then it's confirmed in movie 2.
Yes,
that they're related.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you're correct.
Right. I'm just gathering my thoughts there. Don't mind me.
Yep. So we learned that Char and Sayla are actually part of the Daikun family.
Daikon Films, that'll show them.
Char chose to go undercover in Zeon to try and get revenge. And Sayla ended up going to the Fetties. We don't learn why she chose that.
Mm-hmm.
And Char tries to be like, hey, come back. We don't know. Just happens.
Hey, come here.
Come on. Come join your brother. Yeah. And that's the end of movie 2. And then movie 3 is just a conglomeration of 2 battles, and it's just nonstop action.
Yep. By the way, I gave movie 2 a 5.
Yeah, I gave it a 6.
Yep.
I gave it a 6.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed how it... Some of the issues I had from movie 1, I enjoyed how it kind of like... touched on that, even if it didn't do a good job of it, but it at least did some things that I wanted, and ultimately, I did enjoy some of the battles, but again, I felt very unfulfilled watching movie 2, and my level of care for Gundam going into movie 3 was close to zero, and this is also the time when I ended up getting sick. Obviously, because of Gundam, I got an ear infection. Gundam is directly responsible for this, and
Right.
my level of
Take 'em
care for
out.
Gundam went below zero going into movie 3.
Yeah, my motivation to go into movie 3 was significantly lessened with what happened in movie 2.
Yeah. You see, this is just so a product of its time. I mean, it's not an excuse. It's literally the case that this is just a product of something that was made in the early 80s,
Yes.
late 70s, before they had like a proper formula. Movie 3 I enjoyed more than the rest of them, to be honest with you.
Just because it was more action-packed?
Just because it's more action-packed and I already know what the political intrigue is.
Sure. That's based on your previous knowledge, though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
It's not a fair assessment, but it is mine. I've already seen the series.
Yeah. So,
You're biased.
Yes, I am.
yeah. So, two things happen in movie 3. Two events. You have the Battle of Solomon and the Battle of Baku, which is the final battle.
Yeah, the battle of that thing.
In between, you end up at side 6. So this is kind of where, because do you still have the map up of where these sides are?
I can find it real quick.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that Solomon is actually close to side 6, relatively, because then side 6 becomes a base for the Fetties to attack Zeon and the resource asteroid. So as you're looking that up, I'll go into Armro meets his dad again, and he suffers from oxygen.
I wanted 0073.
Here we go. So it doesn't show where Solomon is. There's Luna 2 by side 7, which makes sense. Yeah, it's not showing where Solomon is, or Abaku for that matter. Abaku's like a debris field, isn't it?
Essentially.
Yeah.
So it should be right here.
It should be in between Earth and side 6 somewhere.
Fucking nerds.
Yes, I am. Next.
Anyway, well, it kind of gives you a sense of like where they are in space and what happens. But Armro meets his dad. His dad's gone essentially crazy because he was thrown into the vacuum of space for quite some time. So Armro's like, well, dad's gone crazy. Nothing I can do. See ya.
Love that scene though when he answered that module he's made for the Gundam.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, here, take this. This is going to improve Gundam significantly. It's like Hummer just receives and has that fucking like inner monologue. He's like, this is a piece of trash.
And throws it.
Yeah, he epically throws it on the ground and it bounces. And yeah.
I just love this. I was expecting him to oh my god. I was like, I was expecting him to have some sort of pity for his dad or something. But it's like, this is a piece of trash.
Well, in this fit of sadness, he ends up meeting Lala soon. That's where the soon comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she is a crazy advanced new type. They kind of have a he also meets Char later. They kind of have a face to face when Armoro epically high centers his car. It's all happening on side 6. It's all very weird. For some reason, the movie when Lala was introduced and even in the show, it just felt off.
No shit.
You know, Char's clearly in love with her because of Armoro's high new type ability. Him and Lala end up having this epic emotional connection because of their abilities. And this is where the theory comes in that the higher form of new type or new type abilities you have, the more you're able to kind of transfer this power or heighten other people's potential new type abilities.
The stronger you can one for all it.
Yeah, essentially, because Armo meets Lala. All of a
Yep.
sudden, his abilities increase. Armo goes back to White Base, and he's had such an emotional connection over who knows how long, according to the movies.
So
Time has passed.
clearly,
Gets their new type abilities heightened, such as Bright Noah, Sayla's, Mirai's, everybody.
Well, think about it, too.
Three little shits.
These, the guy who wrote this is clearly, like, a huge nerd.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how repeaters work?
No.
Go on.
So, essentially, like, let's say you have a Wi-Fi repeater.
Okay.
What it does is it has a repeater, and it sends a signal back to your router.
Mhm.
Your router amplifies it back, sends it back.
Okay.
And you keep repeating that process over and over again.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
I see
basically-
I see what you're analyzing.
So basically, what they're doing is amplifying each other's ability by bouncing off each other.
Right.
Someone who has a shitty new type ability, like someone who barely has one at all, would probably not do shit for her.
Mhm.
Amuro has been fighting for his forever,
Right.
so his is already advanced, and hers is hyper advanced. They can actually work together.
And it also makes sense why Char is so high, because he hangs out with her so much.
Mhm.
So they have this battle. Big Zam shows up out of nowhere, and shit starts happening. It's just explosions, people dying. Big Zam. It's just this massive, massive mobile suit that Big Brother Zabi pilots by himself. Armoro single-handedly defeats it.
Of course.
Of course he does. And then it just goes straight into the Battle of Baku. Lala ends up
Like
dying.
that.
An epic death. It's so quick. This movie just happens so fast. And this is, I think, the last 10 episodes of the series?
Remember what I said? They literally had a skip where it was just like, oh, we're in space, now we're there.
Yeah, clearly
Like,
you missed,
whoa.
like, 2 episodes, 3 episodes. It was just like, oh, okay, I guess we're there then.
We did it.
The way I described it was basically like this. It felt like I had a mini stroke and I'd forgotten the last 10 minutes of what happened. Because I was like,
Yeah,
wait,
see mobile armor, Big Zam.
weren't we in space like 2 seconds ago?
Yeah, so everyone starts dying. Everyone all of a sudden starts developing new type abilities. Xeon,
Even the three little shits.
yeah, Xeon all of a sudden has a leap in technology, but I guess if you caught the one line where they're like, "Oh no, everyone's been developing this new technology the whole time for this last epic fight," and this just happened to be where it was. Federation has their Xeon shows or Star shows up in a Xeon, which is this no, isn't the female Zabi Cecilia? She pilots the Xeon, doesn't she?
Z-I-O-N-G?
Yeah, Zeong.
Z-E-O-N-G. Okay.
I believe so. Dozel Zabi. He's the guy who pilots Big Zam. There's a cool little thing where him and his wife gave birth to a small child named Maneva. Plays into later Gundam shows. But it's just an epic battle. Char and Amuro have an epic fight. Very unfulfilled ending there.
Was first piloted by the Red Comet, Char and
Okay, so Char does pilot that. That's right. Okay. Anyways, yeah, it's piloted through like psycho brainwaves, big Xeon technology.
Stump power.
Yeah.
If anyone's seen...
Lots of people die epic deaths. One particular character has an epic death where like her intestines fly out. It's like the best death of the entire series.
If anyone's seen Thunderbolt, run off of Psycho Zaku power, which is just stump power, the power of not having limbs.
Right. But in this case, since Char is...
Being a chicken nugget.
Well, since Char has such inherent new type abilities, he's able to just power it with his mind.
Yep.
He doesn't need to be directly infused into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be a chicken nugget.
And for those wondering, Thunderbolt was basically the research group for new type abilities or trying to integrate. So but I don't think it's technically canon.
It's part of the UC.
It's part of the UC, but it's not
That's
technically. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I like all the battles. I don't like how the entire interaction of Lala went.
I think the problem with it happened so far into the Universal Century, it wasn't even worth it.
Okay.
Please continue.
Because the Battle of Abaku is the end of the war, the 1 year war. It was supposed to feel so much more epic, but the movie just kind of I feel like because the movie's pace cheapened everything, even the ending felt cheapened.
Mhm.
The goddamn betrayals. That was the laziest goddamn betrayals I've ever seen.
Yeah, it just felt off. There was some.
There it is.
All of a sudden, fucking
December
Sabi chick.
0079.
There you go.
All of a sudden, the fucking
Hold
one
on.
sister from like Sabi family betrays her brother, shoots him in the head, takes over. Char eventually finds out that this is my chance to get rid of them. He blows her up, which was cool. Seeing her body parts fly all over the place was cool. And they're slow mowing that to savor every bit of that.
Yeah.
And
Thunderbolt
but you know,
happened at the same time as War in the Pocket and
The Battle of
Abaku.
Abaku. Yeah. So all that research and technology coming to
Went into
fruition
full armor.
in Thunderbolt was then when it went into the suits that they used at the final battle as well.
Abaku.
Yeah.
There we
So
go.
it all kind of comes together.
Don't worry, we'll get 7 years later and get an entire generation of SmackDown.
I mean-
Don't do Zeta.
I like a lot of the political intrigue. I like the battles. The third movie definitely had the best action scenes.
Mhm.
Especially, I mean, the most epic battles is the end of the war. But reiterating myself, just felt cheapened.
Yeah, it did. Well, you didn't have as much time to develop care.
Not in the third movie at all.
Yeah.
Like, when Lala was portrayed in the show, she was given a lot more time than in the movie. Than just Amuro meets her once, meets her again, but just kind of looks at her.
Yep.
And that was it. Because her death is supposed to be just this epic, new type awareness moment.
Yeah.
Like, this is the next step where Gundam's going. And in the movie, I was just like, oh, she died. Cool.
Yeah, like in the
Oh,
series,
she
it was like you
sacrificed
just watch
herself.
fucking
Good
Jesus
job.
die.
Yeah, in
It's
the show,
literally like you just watch Jesus get hung on the cross. That's what
Yeah.
it's fucking like.
it's just crazy. And this one is just,
Up and she's not there anymore, and no one seems to care. Oh, Amuro cares. Oh, now he doesn't. Okay, cool. Let's continue.
it was so odd. So, Tori,
Was
what is your
bad.
final thoughts over a genre and something that you didn't like?
Like I've said before, mech is not my thing. I do not enjoy watching robots fight each other. Something about robots fighting robots makes war and fighting seem so much more impersonal, impersonal and cold. I don't enjoy that. It kind of, I don't know. It's like watching people shoot dolls. Like it doesn't do anything for me. Gundam is a series that I just straight up don't care for. Like the politics. I understand that this is a massive universe built over a long ass time with with lots of stuff in there, politics and goddamn it, like whatever the fuck. But ultimately, there's also so much shit I don't care about. Like I made fun of you guys for going up there pulling up fucking maps and shit to figure out where everything is happening on a great grand scale of things. You guys are mentioning robots, mentioning their fucking models and everything because
Sure.
this is very important to Gundam fans, and I get that. But for me, I couldn't care less about what the fucking numbers behind that Gundam is or about its specs. It's like when I watch a Gundam and I hear, or even any kind of mecha, and I hear them go into like the specs of a robot, I fucking hang myself. I don't care. Like it doesn't matter to me.
So
Like,
I take
I'm
it even
not
after
interested.
watching the third movie, you even during the movies you weren't too into going the extra mile to fill in those gaps that the movie just didn't have.
By the time I watched the third movie, you also have to remember I have an ear infection. I had a fever. I had a pounding headache. I was not in a stable state of mind to actually care about anything. My favorite part of that movie was the ending when that chick got blown up by Char, and I slow-mo that shit to watch her body like just burn up and get torn to shreds. That was my favorite moment. Other than that, I was sitting talking to you, and I didn't even barely read what they were talking about or pay attention. And it was like, oh, they're fighting. Oh, Amuro and Char is fighting now. He got stabbed. Now now Char's going off doing other shit again because and now they're escaping, and then they're trying to guide Armoro out of there because this place is blowing up and nobody can get a contact with him, even though they have new type abilities now slightly, but they can't get a contact with him because he's too far away or whatever, and their powers don't reach him. But that's when the three little shits, like I keep calling them, show up and they're like, yes, we can do it. Fuck, I don't fucking, they have to be useful somehow because they're still on that goddamn ship for some reason. And I'm just sitting there going, no, I don't care. I don't like this. I thought this was extremely poorly done. I don't care about anything. The betrayals felt, like I said, the betrayals, which is I understand is a big part of Gundam, they felt so poorly done. Like I said, also like, you need to die now so I can control this. And then Char getting his revenge for whatever. And yeah, like fucking other new type girl that you were talking about, how when she dies, it kind of just happens. Like, I'm just like, oh, another case of I'm sacrificing myself for the person I love. Dead. Move on. I was just sitting there going like, I don't care. Don't have the ability to care. I just want to go to bed. I'm sick. Yeah.
Joe?
Rant over.
Alright, so on the plus side, this opens up the entire universe, or the UC for you, Tori, which is nice. On the downside, you don't give a shit anyway.
Yeah.
I have, honestly, I had little to no interest in Gundam before. I have even less interest in Gundam right now.
Okay, so a couple things. One, you have teachers that are younger than this series is, that are currently teaching you.
Well, maybe not my current teachers, but yes.
Two, I think that Gundams are actually more personal, because it's actually a theme throughout the entire Universal Century that snipers are cowards.
Right.
Maybe so, but that is definitely not present in this movie at all.
No.
How many people does fucking Amuro Ray just straight up beam saber?
So it's funny you bring that up. My tally, I took 2 tallies. I did my best to try and keep up with it. People slapped in the face or punched. We saw a total across the 3 movies, 9.
Not enough.
Not enough, because I remember
Camille took way more
Zeta
than that.
Gundam, the sequel. It's like all the time. So I was thinking, all right, well maybe it happens here. And then I took an Armoro kill count on screen. Tori, how many people do you think Armoro killed?
No clue.
Just give me a number.
I don't know, 20, 25?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 49 people plus 2 battleships with an unknown count on those battleships is what I was able to tally. I could have missed a battleship or 2. I could have missed a person or 2, but it was just what I saw on screen and just marking a tally down.
Oh.
Yeah.
So anyway,
It's quite the battle record.
it's not bad. I mean, he's no
Less
guts.
than that. Okay.
He's no guts.
He's no guts. Guts is at what, 1200?
Yeah, guts kills demons and whatnot.
Yeah.
He also slaughtered an
That's
entire
a coward.
regiment on his own.
Oh, well, so we killed 100 people in a single battle. Whatever.
Only got a couple of fucking arrows thrown in him.
That's fake fantasy. What are you talking about, Joe? Come on.
Yeah.
These
Berserk
Gundams
is
are
bad.
real.
Berserk's bad anime.
Yeah. Berserk doesn't even have an anime. Jesus.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
So, there's a huge thing going through the entire UC that snipers are cowards. If you saw Thunderbolt, it's actually like one of the opening scenes of it. Oh, what are you?
Yeah, I know.
What are you, a fucking coward? And then they get
no,
in and he
Thunderbolt.
fucking shoots him in the face, pulls the guy out,
Yeah.
and starts calling everyone off on the actual voice comm cowards.
Yeah. No,
Like,
Thunderbolt's
I know
cool.
where all you fucking people are now.
Yeah.
I'll get each one of you. That's a
strange.
huge theme. So like most people are using, whatever mobile suit size assault weapon you can have, and
But Senpai.
beam sabers.
But Senpai, Double O was all about long range attacks.
I don't like Double O.
Double O was fine.
It was fine. I
No.
don't like. It was the most shonen Gundam, and I'm not big on shonen.
Yep.
So as a compilation movie, it was a great refresher for myself.
Yep.
But
Hated it.
that's it.
I gave movie 1 a 6, movie 2 a 5, movie 3 a 7.
I went 8, 6, 7. Which
I went
brings
6,
brings the compilation total to a 7.
I went 6, 6, 4. Hey,
Oh, you didn't like the fourth one the least?
The fourth
Or
one?
the third one the least?
I did like the third one the least.
Huh.
I could not be asked for that third one. That was unwanted. I was done with the fucking movie series by the second movie.
So, Tori, do you have a favorite Mobile Suit you saw?
No.
Do you have a favorite character?
Like I said, no.
No.
No one. Like I said, the only character that I'm not even gonna say I gave a shit about her, but the only character I remotely even cared about was Mathilda. Because, like I said, she was hot. It brought a tear to my eye when she died because, well, the hot character's dead. And I also stopped caring about her after that. But, like, that is kind of like, I didn't care for anyone. I thought they were all fucking garbage. Gundams, mobile suits, fucking mechas. I don't care about that stuff. That is irrelevant to me. I cannot bring myself to like a robot. I've never done that. I've never been able to like a robot.
Yeah, too bad.
Well, like, you had the scene where Amuro stabbed the fucking pilot's cabin.
On the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're gonna say that's impersonal?
To Amuro, it was because he couldn't
I never
actually
said that
see
was
the person.
But the problem is, like I said, when I say I think it's impersonal, that is something I think based on, like, my limited experience with mecha, not necessarily Gundam, but with mecha. And there is something, like I said, because in most cases of what I've seen, it is two people carrying guns shooting at each other from a distance, or two robots rather, shooting at each other from a distance, and eventually one of them blows up. That to me, it kind of just feels like, it feels like shooting at training dolls, essentially. It doesn't feel like anything to me. It doesn't feel personal. Now, I understand where you're coming from with the whole, like, they get up close and, actually, even in sense, like, even when they don't even, like, kill each other in robots, like when the dude threw himself out and, like, with the bomb and exploded himself in, like, Amuro's, like, in the Gundam's hand, right? That thing, stuff like that, that is the exception for me, right? Those are the times where it becomes more personal. But ultimately, I still, and especially with these movies, because I feel like they don't do these things justice at all, so it still kind of just feels like a glory reel or a highlight reel almost of this person died, that person died, that person died, that person died, that person died. Do you remember this person died? Right? It becomes one of those, like, NBA highlights.
Yeah, that's one of the major problems with fucking compilation movies. They do just kind of feel cheap.
Yeah.
Just because of how they...
Events are cheapened because you're given less information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's basically...
Kill kind of shaky.
Basically my whole thing.
No favorite mobile suit or character?
My favorite mobile suit's not from this series.
Well, pick one from this series.
Commander type Zaku 2?
So, Char's custom.
Yes.
Okay. I'm a big fan of that as well. I'm actually a pretty big fan of Ramba Rawls. Goog or Gog he was piloting with the whip, the electric whip. I'm a big fan of that. My favorite character is definitely Sayla. I wish there was just more about her because she was such an important character.
I like Fra.
She was terrible.
Well, it's weird how she ends up, because she ends up not with Amuro and fucking.
She's just she's Alf.
She's just a mother to everyone, and she was born in 0064. She's 15.
Yeah.
On the fucking flight deck.
Yeah, cool, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I just gonna have, because I remember you told me that, JD, like that you like Sayla.
Yeah.
And I have to, like, when you said that, I just had kind of a moment of just, wait, what? Because to me, Sayla is basically the embodiment of, Nissan.
Well, in the movies, that's her whole purpose. In the show,
exactly, right?
I didn't feel it, so I was like, damn.
Yeah. So when you said that, I was just like, what?
Yeah, Sayla's just not portrayed well in these movies.
It's like, and that is my problem. That's why I don't care for any characters, because ultimately, apart from Amuro, I don't feel like any character has been done any sort of justice, and Amuro is terrible. So I don't care. Who am I supposed to care? The only the only people that
Char's
they
the
seem
best
to try
character in all
to
of
ever.
Gundam.
Well, Char's the best character in all Gundam.
Char.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is different. Like,
But the way I look at it is, okay, Char's given so much backstory and everything, and he's the one that actively doing. What about Sayla's side? How did she become?
She's probably one of the most conflicted characters in the entire series.
Oh, sure, because she's fighting the Fetties, but her brother is also on the Xeon side, and
Yep.
The Daikun family was assassinated for being pacifists. You learned that, I believe, in the third movie, and that was how the Zabi family came to power. It was taking out this essentially rival group, which was run by the Daikun family, and that's kind of Char's origin story. So
True.
I actually haven't
that.
seen Gundam Origin, so maybe Sayla's in that.
Mm-hmm. She has to be in it.
She has to be in it in some way.
Because it's Char's story.
Yeah. One of my favorite Gundams ended up being Gundam Unicorn, the OVA series, not the TV series, and that's all about Minerva Zabi. She's a conflicted character because she comes from the Zabi family, has that history.
My favorite Gundam is 8th MS.
It's very grounded, yeah.
Yeah, I like Real Robot series over Super Robot. That's one of the reasons why I like Gundam. And if you're into Gundam, anybody listening who's actually sat through this 3-hour, 20-minute thing, might I suggest actually watching Votomes? Because it has a pathetically low rating on Mal.
Yeah, it does. Not a lot of people have seen it.
The ending's kind of what the fuck. I'll tell you that up front.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's such a goddamn good series. Ron Barol, here he is.
Is it Jimbaral then?
Let's find
That
out.
I was talking about this whole time? It might have been Jimbaral. I might have misspoken this entire time of who that is. No?
No. Looks like he's the only
Oh shit, who's
0068.
who? No. Oh, that must. You know what? That might be a younger. Yeah, it's a younger picture of him.
Yep.
That's okay. So it is Rambarol. Oh, thank God. I thought I've been wrong this whole time.
I look like an ass for 20 straight minutes.
Jesus. Okay, so overall, I gave it a 7. I was kind of disappointed on it. It just feels like a refresher. I think that's the point. What from other Gundam fans, this being more canon? No. Watch the original series. You'll get the majority of information. That's my take on it after watching these.
I think this has already missed its shot, but I think this could have been remade, like remastered sometime in the late 90s, early 2000s. And just not have the story changed, nothing like that. Touched up, made it look better, tighten up the story. So take out some of the nonsense.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of missed the boat on that opportunity.
That kind of storytelling doesn't really exist much anymore.
Yeah.
Because people don't have the attention span usually, or something. They don't think people are going to stick around. They want to make the lowest common denominator.
Well, that's why
watch the
Gundam
series.
Origin is only like 4 episodes.
Yeah, that's why it's a 12-volume manga.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think those are 2-in-1s. But that's why it takes up an entire fucking shelf on my bookshelf, but it's 4 episodes.
Yeah.
You read it, the people who are going to read a manga like that are the people who want to know every fucking excruciating
Everything.
detail.
So
People who are going to watch the series are just Gundam fans, pop it in.
Yeah.
That's it.
Tori, do you regret watching the movies?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
I can't wait till we do Zeta.
That's
That's going to be a while.
For me, I'm pretty much done with Gundam. There's nothing that's gonna change my mind on Gundam. I have War in the Pocket coming up for the Quest, and that is like my final hope for ever enjoying anything related to Gundam. But other than that, I'm pretty much done with the series. I cannot see anything changing my mind on this series. Like I'm basically getting into that point where it's like I'm basically reaching the point of cynicism here, where it's like I'm getting so stubborn that I'm not gonna want to enjoy it at this point.
Do you need to order a pizza?
No, I refuse.
Didn't you
I do.
Didn't you enjoy IBO?
I did actually enjoy IBO, but then
Didn't
again,
you enjoy
I also
8th
really
MS?
liked I not that much. I liked, like I said,
People
I
like
liked,
IBO
Gundam,
because it's not about the mobile suits.
Because it's not Gundam.
I like IBO because it's Mario Kart, and
she's
if
a terrible
unless you
fucking
could
hack.
tell, I fucking love her type of writing. Yeah.
Yeah, baby's first storytelling. So.
Yeah, no.
All right, we're approaching 3.5 hours here. I think we've said our piece.
No, you don't say.
Yeah. Hit us up on the My Anime List Red Leaf Retrocast, Worldwide Weebs. Hit us up. You can find this across iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Overcast, Podbean. Thank you for hosting. Next episode's over Evangelion and the Rise and Fall of Gainax is the discussion. As this Gundam one was about me kind of go over everything. Something tells me, Joe, you're gonna be the one heading up the Ava.
Yeah,
to kind of inform us on anything we missed.
Basically, what's going to happen in the Ava cast is Senpai's going to join. Like, we're all going to join, and then Senpai's going to talk for 4 hours. So nobody else is going to get to say anything, and then we're going to call it quits.
Well, I'm excited to get a fan of Evangelion because I've never had a one-on-one conversation to truly break down Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Because it always just turns into fucking bullshit.
I guess we'll have to discuss if we're actually going to cover End of Evangelion since it's separate.
Yes.
We are?
It's part of the story.
All right, so we're going to cover both.
Yeah.
It's the ending.
It's the ending. Actually, I think it's... we will save that. Anyway.
Save it all for next time. We got some good topics coming up in the next few episodes that Tori and I discussed, and I just think it's a lot of fun. Joe, one of them we've actually played before, where we say the summary of a series in a different language, and you have to guess.
I did it.
It might be an ongoing game where, maybe Tori will head it up, and he'll say everything in Norwegian, and we'll guess Hickey in Portuguese, so it could be a thing going on. So, this has been episode 9.
Don't forget to send us questions.
Whether it's on Discord. Hit us up on Twitter, fullmetal_LAX. Bowling JD.
Write us a 5-star review. Write us a 5-star review on iTunes and leave a question in there if you want to.
Sure. Just any way. We really appreciate more feedback from our community.
I need friends.
I'm moving to Rhode Island. Jesus. Tori's gonna move to Rhode Island too. He just doesn't know it yet.
No.
He should.
I refuse.
Members of our community are moving to Rhode Island. They don't even know it yet. They're gonna escape their protective turtle shell.
What the hell is going to happen when literally everybody who both participates and listens to the podcast eventually moves to Rhode Island?
Nothing. We'll be victorious. We'll have the weeb shelter.
Rhode Island, aka
Rhode Island
the
will
weeb
be
state.
overpopulated.
Get to the weeaboo protection chamber.
Oh. I think it's dinner time. What do you think?
I agree.
Let's get the hell out of here. I'm going to pick some,
time.
I guess, the Gundam ending song. So
one of them.
Yeah. If you're watching on
don't do
YouTube,
that.
you won't get any of the songs. If you're everywhere else, you will hear it all as usual.
That's right.
See ya, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.